All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order at this time and welcome my fellow board members as well as those in the public tonight. Appreciate you being here. And we'd like to open at this time with a word of prayer. So, Gary, would you lead us?
Sure. Our gracious God and Heavenly Father, we come to you, Lord, in this evening hour. We thank you for the blessings of this day again. We ask, Lord, you may guide and protect us in all that we do and say in this meeting. May you be with our first responders, be with our own township employees, wherever they may be and whatever they may do for us. Guide and protect them. Be with those, O Lord, for this holiday season who's going through the first season with a loved one being missing this year at the table. Pray that you may give them everything they stand in need of, a special portion of thy grace. Be with us now, Lord, too, as we do celebrate this season, the season of our birth of our Savior. May you give us all that we stand in need of now and bless us and keep us. Bring us home at the appointed time from harm and danger. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Amen. If you could stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Acknowledge the roll tonight.
We are all present tonight.
All right, great to see everybody. Just before anywhere in February when we start to miss one of you here and there, fun places, so see ya. Item number 5 is tonight's approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Support.
Who supported? Any comments?
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a proposed amendment to the agenda. I'd like to remove, item 10.3 from the consent agenda, which is tentative preliminary plat approval for Lowing Woods number 15. That item and then item 8.2, I would like to state that I have a conflict of interest in those items. I would request a vote on my recusal.
All right, we can do that now. So we've got two things going on here. One would be a motion to amend the agenda to pull item 10.3 out of the consent agenda, make it its own, we'll call it 10A. Would that be all right?
Yeah. All
right. On that first point then, is there a second to that motion by Kelly?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, it's made a separate item. And now she's asked separately from that to be recused both from 10A as well as from item 8. Bear with me here. Is it 8.2?
8.2.
8.2. Because of employment either with the applicant or an affiliated entity with the applicant. So it's not an automatic right of recusal. It happens seldom here, but it's an appropriate request, I believe, in this instance. Is there someone who'd like to make a motion to approve of the clerk's recusal from those two particular agenda items?
So moved.
Support.
All right, any discussion? I guess the only thing I would say is it happens really seldom, but when it has happened, my recollection is that the person physically gets up and sits in the audience or leaves the room if they like, but may sit in the audience. I think with the one, it may be rather brief. I wouldn't mind if you just wanted to sit and sort of back your chair up, if you will. But I think for the other, it might be best for you and for us to just have complete separation, right?
Would you like me to be in the audience or in the other room?
Oh, I think that's entirely up to you. You could stay in the audience if you like, sure. Yep. All right, so with that then, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes 6-0. All right. Thanks for bringing that up. With the amended agenda, then we've approved that now. And otherwise, is there a motion to approve the full agenda now as amended?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it is passed. Item 6, our monthly update from the fire department from Chief DeWitt. Welcome.
Georgetown Township. Just wanted to give you the update for November, calls for service. We had a total of 121 calls for mutual aid. We gave 7 requests and received 7. Year-to-date, 1,131. On our community outreach, we had 5 home safety surveys, 7 smoke detector and alarm installs, with 11 CO detector installs in the township, for a total of 28 alarms for November. On the fire inspection investigation side, we had 6 structure fires, 4 of those which were commercial and 2 residential. Very, very busy month. Looking forward to it down in December.
Anything you want to point out from those structure fires? Anything noteworthy?
Not really, just extremely busy. Guys worked hard. We did have 1 injury, but the individual's back on the job. So we're very fortunate we didn't have any more injuries with how many fires we had in such a short period of time in the 2 weeks that we had the 6 structure fires.
Matt, a number of people have asked about Wendy's.
Yes.
How extensive was that?
Enough where they're going to be closed down for a period of time.
Okay.
There was enough damage inside, both internally and externally. They're going to need to do a complete rebuild of that one side of the building, which would be the west side. So it will be shut down for a period of time. I expect it to reopen at some point.
Any theme to some of these fires we've had of late in terms of repeated actions that are causing fires?
The theme, not really. With fires, you just don't know from call to call. Some of them user error. We definitely know that. Some of them just faulty equipment. So no real theme. You really never know in emergency services what you're going to get. Other questions?
All right. Anyone else?
Yep.
Appreciate it, Chief. Thank you.
you.
Thanks, Pat. All right, we'll move on to item 7, which is our communication letters and reports received for information. That brings us to item 8 on our agenda, which is we're going to have back-to-back public hearings, beginning with 8-1. And this is Rubicon LLC that is requesting a rezoning from LDR to PUD. Is there someone here tonight representing the applicant? Right?
Nope.
Seeing none, is there a motion among the board to open the public hearing?
So move.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is open. Anyone here tonight who wishes to step forward and address this particular development, please do so at this time. Thank you. Welcome.
I'm Pam Weston at 640 44th Street. In the proposal sent to you on number 11, that says a greenbelt buffer shall be planned and maintained with the idea that its purpose is to block light and sound pollution from neighboring lots year-round with evergreen trees along the south property line. But during the meeting and the discussion, in the minutes from that meeting, it was Jeff Brown also agreed with the motion as laid out by Tom Healy, stating he was especially supportive of the greenbelt buffer between the development and the homes to the south and east of it. And so there's homes on both sides that all the neighbors were there to discuss requesting the buffer of evergreen trees.
We have a member of the Planning Commission here tonight, and we'll ask if he recalls that as well, and that's certainly a valid point to bring up if that was discussed.
Okay, I have it in the minutes from
Okay,
that commission.
good.
And then also just to confirm that the zoning will be neighborhood service, the lowest level possible for neighborhood services. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Lori Johnson at 668 44th Street. I wasn't at the planning meeting because I was in Mexico and we didn't get a notification. I think from the time we were gone for 3 weeks and it came while we were gone. So the time of the notice and the time of the meeting were we didn't have that. So I do have concerns about water from that. You know, there is a little pond and a lake, little lake or pond, whatever you want to call it, on that property. And I just don't know where all this drainage is going to go to, because when you, our property, initially, it was a 2-lane road. They took off 3 lanes of our property and then the bike path, and then the drains that they put on the road drained right into my front yard. So that's wet all the time. And now if they're going to do whatever, what's that going to do to our properties as well? Where's that water going to go when they drain it? So that's my concern. I don't know if there's been a study done or what their plans are for that, but before that's changed and we all of a sudden have multi-structures and more, what's that going to do to the property?
All right, we'll make sure to take that up in discussion here. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, we will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Support.
Supported, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing is closed. And is there a motion to approve the resolution so that you can place it on the table for discussion among the board?
So moved.
Support.
It was supported. Time for discussion now on this. I'll just preface this to say this particular applicant, I guess who's not present tonight, but had made himself available to some pre-application meetings that I was part of. I know our manager was, assistant manager, planning commissioner, Sammy, a couple of others as well. I think Ms. Minier was in each of them. But the point being is this is a request that has been in the works for some time and has been worked through and had a number of objections or deviations that were not acceptable and that were, that more or less put a halt to the plans for a period of time. And the proposed developer here went back to the drawing board at least once, I think more than once. And the last time they came back with a revised site plan was quite a bit different than what it started with. All that to say that, it's been pretty well vetted, however you feel about it in that corner. I think that it would appear to meet the requirements of the PUD, especially section 22.2 and 22.10. But I'd like to hear comments from board members as well as perhaps addressing a couple of the concerns raised tonight about the screening on both the south and east and about water. So I'm thinking Gary, as a member of the Planning Commission, maybe can recall that discussion unless you weren't there at that meeting. And then Kelly,
I
I'd like to hear from you too. Yeah.
That is the national holiday of deer hunting week.
Okay. All right.
And I warned them about putting a meeting on the national holiday of deer hunting week, but they still held it without me.
All right.
But
Yeah.
Ryan is back in that corner, and he is our zoning administrator, and he was at the meeting. So I would digress to him.
Yeah. Ryan, yeah, come up. But as you do, and really the invitation obviously is to all, but I know Kelly, with some background in this, have you looked at the concern about water runoff? And Ryan can maybe address that as well.
Yeah. Stormwater is really, it's not a purview of our zoning ordinance. We, through our general ordinances, prohibit water runoff onto adjacent properties. But stormwater as a review item is very particularly handled through the Ottawa County Water Resources Office, and we require as a township a stormwater drain permit that proves that the applicant has worked with the Water Resources Office to make sure that they do not have water runoff onto adjacent property and that they are handling their stormwater management entirely on their site. So between Ryan's thorough review of the site and then the review done by Joe Bush's office, I'm pretty confident that even if it's not fully vetted at this point, a lot of times it's a multi-step process. They'll come here and sort of get their entitlement approval and then work through those construction approvals. They will be held to that standard.
I hope that's, from Ms. Johnson, I hope that's some reassurance. I do know, like you say, there's further meetings that are yet to come, primarily with Planning Commission, as they refine those plans and hold them accountable. Go ahead, Ryan. You've heard the concerns that were raised as well as just generally the requests made here by the applicant.
Sure, yeah. So just to address the screening issue, I did put in the motion about that south corner because that is where there's no existing trees. So they were going to have to put a additional green belt there anyway. And the discussion at the meeting was, well, you know, what if we require some additional evergreen trees here just to minimize the impact on some of the adjacent properties? It's my understanding, at least, that the eastern side already has existing trees that meet that requirement. But one of the requirements is that they have to resubmit a plan if this is approved to me, just with the green belt. I'm happy to look at that. I'm happy to ensure that they do have the proper screening there, but at least it was my understanding that the eastern side does have a lot of foliage already. It is a wetland site. There is a lot of trees there already, but not on the south end. So the south end, there will be additional trees that have to go in. I'm certainly open to looking at the eastern side to make sure that wherever they don't meet the requirement, they are going to be required to have a proper green belt there. But yeah.
Not to get just bogged down on that one point, but
Yep.
I can foresee where a developer could say, you know, this came to the board and it said south property line. I understand you verbally said,
Yep.
you know, we'd hold you to the east as well. But
I would say you could amend that to say the eastern side if you want, because like I said, right now, my understanding at least was it was just that southern portion actually closer to the road. So I would say if that's something that you would want to amend in that.
So my question, I guess, then to you and others here would be, when it comes to us through the planning commission in this manner, are we able to amend it, or do we have to send it back for that amendment? Are we able to simply say, hey, we want to clarify? It's more of a clarifying point.
Sure.
There needs to be adequate coverage on the east side as well. Perhaps much of it already is. Maybe it all is. I don't know. But
Right.
whatever would be needed, it seems that it should be stated. Do we have that authority or ability to make that amendment at this level, or is it only something we can send back and say, add that verbiage and send it back to us once again? I know it seems arduous,
Yeah,
but that
no,
might.
I know what you mean.
If I may, the way that I read number 11, a green belt buffer shall be planted and maintained. Just that first statement there. There's a clarifying point towards the end where it speaks to the south property line, but you could read that the first few words suggest that there simply needs to be a green belt buffer as a part of the plan with evergreen trees planted on the south, but I still think they are beholden to the requirement of a green belt where it's required on all property lines.
The plan also does show a green belt along the entire eastern side, just not specifically evergreen. That was the discussion at the meeting, that they had some additional evergreen, at least my understanding was along the south side. So they still are required to have a green belt along that entire, they show the green belt on the entire plan. And to Kelly's point, it does state that there is a green belt does have to be maintained along the entire property along the residential.
How do the rest of you feel about that interpretation of that particular line? Is that the consensus that you read it in that fashion?
Yes.
Not ambiguous, okay.
Right, yeah.
And to the extent that the minutes could reflect it as well, which is there was discussion among the board clarifying what might have been perceived as an ambiguity, and there was consensus that it was understood.
Yes.
Consistent with, I guess, the planning commission and the site plans proposal, that green belt buffer would mean on each side, right?
Adjacent to all residential.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yep.
I was at the meeting and sat as an audience member too, and on number 9, and she said about the NS service, neighborhood service. I've been walking out of there, I wasn't quite totally clear. Did they decide to just stay with NS?
Correct.
Okay.
NS, but they also excluded the uses that were listed.
Certain things under that,
Yes,
correct.
so,
Okay.
so the uses that were listed originally in the staff report were still excluded, and they kept it to neighborhood service. So some of those were like drive-through facilities, funeral homes, assembly buildings. Those were allowed in NS. They still decided to exclude those
Right.
uses for this development.
Just wanted that clear too.
You can actually, this is actually perfect here. You can see along this is the south actually, right here. So this is the area where they're going to be required to put in the evergreen trees, meet the greenbelt requirement. This is obviously the existing foliage here that does meet the requirement for trees.
That's all deciduous trees. No,
Okay.
The requirements for a green belt are pretty clear within our ordinance.
And
It's a green belt is, per our ordinance, a green belt is required adjacent to all residential properties, and it specifies exactly what needs to be planted in a green belt. So
okay.
I think there is sufficient coverage within our ordinance already.
I do too. The ordinance is there.
Yeah.
And I'll just say for the benefit of those who might go by there and say, oh, I love those woods, or what was proposed originally was quite a bit more than what you see in front of you. And there were deviations that were sought that were not acceptable and did not meet the requirements. But I guess you could say to the credit of the developer, they kept paring back to the point where, you know, Manette and I know Justin was there and Ryan, you were there, and others like, yeah, that's okay. You know, you're listening, you're responding, you're adjusting, and
I like that they put a trail through the wetlands and picnic tables and stuff so that they have addressed that as well.
not to be cynical, but I'm not sure who's going to be walking through there.
Well.
I picture those being smoking benches. Really.
Yeah, mosquitoes or what, I don't know.
Smoking
With traps.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought of that, smoking them.
Ryan, did you have anything you wanted to highlight to the board in any way? Questions for Ryan while he's standing yet? Comments among the board, discussion?
Well, I was being at the meeting, I think what was good too is that they did their homework, I think, even before bringing it maybe to you guys, is that they had Ottawa County involved with a road study. That helped out and said that, you know, even though it's going to bring some more traffic or whatever, they thought that the road and everything else could handle it, right? Am I correct?
You're correct, yep.
But with certain distances from corners and things. I mean, they weren't, they just come in and go, oh, good, you know, that looks good.
No, they did a
pushed them.
pretty thorough job of all that, and that was a good that they did that.
So Ryan, you feel comfortable with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually think, you know, for this corner, it's a very constrained corner with the way the wetland is laid out there. And, you know, Jim mentioned that we've seen a number of different plans. They were trying to get creative, maybe trying to go a little too far, maybe kind of trying to blame it on the wetlands and, hey, we have to do it this way. But overall, I think, you know, for the space it is, I think it's a pretty cool development and use of a otherwise parcel that I think would go unused for a long time. It's difficult to develop in those kind of areas, and I think overall it meets the intent of a PUD.
I want to be clear here too, and Kelly, you have deeper knowledge about this than I, but I know that on this particular corner, you could say, well, it's LDR, hold them to LDR. LDR wouldn't permit, you know, certain of these things. However, back in 2021, the Planning Commission, when they updated the master plan, specifically called out this corner as suitable for a PUD and set forth the types of things within that PUD that the township would want to see, and that's what they brought. So in other words, with that compounded, with that fact, the decision in some respects to say, okay, it's going to be developed to be something other than LDR occurred at that point in time, to where you don't have the ability to revert back and say, well, let's just make it LDR, and the most they could do is a couple of residences in there or something. It would be at odds with our master plan at that point.
And you'll be observant of Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Weston's concerns about the evergreens?
Absolutely. So yeah, just to clarify again, while they are required to have a green belt along there, the green belt is shown on the site plan. So when we do a site inspection, if they don't meet the requirements for a green belt, they will not receive final approval. They will have to plant trees and make sure that they meet our ordinance definition of that. So.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Other comments on the board? Okay, there is a motion before you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
Yes, I didn't cut off the motion. Who made the motion, who seconded? Could you remind me?
I believe I made the motion.
Gary and I.
I believe I made the motion.
Okay, all right. This is a roll call vote, so I'm going to ask our clerk to call the roll.
Grossman,
Yes?
Kelly,
Yes.
Schwalm,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Piper's a yes. Wieringa,
Yes.
Beldink,
Yes.
all in favor.
Okay. Thank you. Now we come to item 8.2, and we'll give Kelly a moment. All right, so I know the board, and I want to commend, Justin and Andy for providing us just good information. We had 2 PUDs tonight, and then a number of site plan staff reports under the informational agenda, and just a ton to read. But you can forget the distinctions unless you revisit it often enough. And I appreciated the background information that you provided to us on both and on the relevant sections of our ordinance. This would be a situation where this particular applicant under 8.2 would be seeking to revise an existing PUD, right? So I think we all understand this was a PUD that was approved, I want to say as far back as 2004-ish, and has gone through various iterations over the years. They're seeking an immediate revision to their last approved PUD here. And so it's not unlike the one before, which was going from LDR to PUD, consistent with what was written into the master plan. This is one that's already approved as PUD, and they're looking to modify a PUD that was approved. So in that respect, they've had an approval. There's going to be something developed there. It's not a question of that. It's going to be a question of what and whether or not we feel like this revised PUD meets the ordinance requirements. So with that said, just like the last matter before us here, there's going to be a public hearing. So at this time, is there a motion among the board to open a public hearing on this particular request?
Support.
Moved by Gary, supported by Amy. And so, anyone have any comments on that? Nope. All in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, your public hearing is open. In this case, we do have the applicant here, right? Raise your hand if you're associated with this request, if you don't mind. Okay. Back here a little further. You're welcome, of course, to listen to the public comment first, if you wish, and then to be able to address the board so that you might be able to also address potential concerns raised among the public. So why don't we turn first to others, and anyone who wishes to address this, please come forward.
In Georgetown, 6877 Creek Ridge Court. I just have one question. I don't know if it was clear or not, and I'm not sure if Kelly can answer this. I don't know the reason for her recusal. I wasn't clear on that, so if you could give us some more details on that, that would be great.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, thanks, Pete. It's an Eastbrook Homes development, albeit they've got different LLCs they form, I think, with each development. In this case, you've got Nevada Creek Development, Ottawa Land Investments LLC, et cetera. And Kelly is an employee of Eastbrook Homes, and hence, essentially, its various affiliates should be conflicted with any one of those. Did I state that well enough, Kelly? Or okay, but fair enough. I should have been a little more clear about that earlier. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Support.
Supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the public hearing is closed. And we could start with a motion to approve the resolution, or we could start with discussion, whatever the board would like. Okay. Not hearing a motion, we'll come to that, unless someone surprises me here, all right? Otherwise, just like with the previous request here, you've got PUD requirements, you've got the various standards that all of us were reminded of here. It goes through the Planning Commission, of course, and they have looked at this, and they have approved of what they've sent to us, and they're asking this board now pursuant to our ordinances to approve as well. So I think it'd be best, before we have board deliberation discussion, to have our applicant come forward and both give us an overview from your perspective of what you're trying to accomplish, and then be available for questions and concerns.
Happy to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. And your name?
Michael McGraw with Eastbrook Homes.
Okay.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the project is going on over 20 years old now. I've been involved with our company for 20 years. It's a family-owned company. We're proud of the company, but we're proud of what the community's become also. The homes have evolved, continuous improvement in what we're building. And over that period of time, site planning and home types and preferences, and as buyers have aged, their preferences have changed. Some of the members of the Planning Commission went and visited some similar communities, so thank you to those who took the time to do that. I don't know if any board members were able to do so.
I have.
Okay. We got good feedback from that. I think it was helpful. We obviously worked very closely with Ryan throughout this process. It was a very detailed and thorough process to identify various deviations we needed to accommodate this change in product type and offering. I would, for whatever it's worth, I would say Ryan did a great job in working through that with me. This is a sort of community, I think, when I just talk more broadly about communities, this is a type of community that excites me because of its diversity and what it offers. The fact that we can have a grandparent living in the same neighborhood as a kid or grandchild is something that excites me. It allows for variety in home types, both from a pricing standpoint, lifestyle standpoint, and that diversity creates a diverse community and a vibrant community, I would say. A whole bunch of one thing or all of one thing creates kind of a monolith, and also from a resale standpoint, that diversity is of value. If I've got different segments of home types, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, they're not all competing for the same type of buyer. So it just creates health inside of a residential community that I don't think exists in a monolithic community of all the same thing. There's just some highlights. We don't have all the plans up here to go through them all, but I think some of the highlights of the changes are a 47 unit reduction. So you mentioned the current PUD was approved for 829 units. We've dropped it with this application to 782. So the 47 unit reduction, what we're currently approved to build. Substantial reduction in the number of attached housing units. There was a breakdown of that, but it's a substantial reduction in attached housing with more detached. We've clustered the units, which you can kind of see on the plan, and that allowed for the addition of 4 large park spaces, which I think are worth mentioning. That's probably not the best plan to show, but you can still see them, and I'll point them out.
Can we get the green plan up?
Yeah, that's just maybe a illustrative plan.
That's a little better plan. That shows a little bit nice. I think it's lower. Oh, sorry.
Looks like 5 of 5. This is on T4426. This is the PDF that's 14/426.
There you go.
So with this configuration, we're able to add, these 2 parks alone are longer than a football field. They're about 400 feet in length from top to bottom and over 100 feet in width. So it's substantial space that'll be shared green space. We have a dog park up here that didn't exist previously. A second pool for Lowing Woods, along with a play park area out here, and then a small building there. It's really a bathhouse, it will have bathrooms, it will have a covered eating area, so people can rent out a space there. But some pretty substantive changes from a community amenity standpoint that this sort of cluster concept affords you. Absent that, if you look at the old plan, if you just compared the current request to the original, there was none of those spaces. And it's, you know, the architecture, I would say, is more varied and up to date. I don't know if you guys had the opportunity to go through the architectural pattern book, but if you focus on the terrace homes and the townhomes, which weren't in there before, they're cute. They've got front porches. You know, the garages are in the back, so they're not prominent. When you walk down the sidewalks, you see the front porches. You're engaging with the community in a way you don't otherwise. So we believe it's a pretty substantive change for the better. Happens to be a unit reduction that's of substance as well. We don't often go in and say, hey, we want to reduce our project by 47 units, but in this case, it made good sense. You know, we were purposeful with the pedestrian circulation. There's a reason we focused that to the interior. If you zoom in a little bit on this upper corner, this, yeah, that's sufficient. You'll notice that the sidewalk doesn't cross any driveways. It's here all along the front porches. If you do have to cross the, I'll call it the alley, here in a couple spots, but otherwise you're not crossing driveways. So we tried to focus the pedestrian circulation in a spot where there's the fewest interruptions. Same for this. There's double sidewalks here and double here with some connectors in the middle. Now, the amenities, exactly how we do these, are we leave some room for artistic and landscape interpretation, whether those become gathering spaces with a patio or a shared fire area. We're not exactly sure yet, but the whole layout is kind of just much more inviting and engaging and creates a real nice neighborhood feel. Because each of these will have their own private courtyard in the middle, which they can use in any way they see fit. They could be raised garden beds. And now maybe zoom in further, it's worth pointing this out. Those who didn't get to the architectural pattern book, this is a space specific to this unit. They can put hardscape in there. They can do grass. Or they can do any variety of a number of different things. And then these areas are all shared along with the areas in the front. And those are all mowed, irrigated, fertilized by the HOA, so it creates a consistent feel when you drive through it. It's mowed on the same day of the week. It's like a condominium in that sense, in that you have control over making sure everything's irrigated, fertilized, and mowed correctly, and trimmed correctly. So we think there's a lot of benefits. Happy to answer any questions you might have. And if you want to go through the pattern books, if that's worth discussion, we can do that. I just didn't know what was appropriate as far as the length of presentation tonight. But
So square footage
well, there's a variety of different home types in this section.
of the ones in the center?
The terrace homes,
Yeah.
they'll range from probably 15-ish to over 2,000 square feet. So they're not.
Two-story.
Some are two. We offer a ranch plan in that product type as well, and then 2 of the 3 other plans are all our main floor master bedrooms. So there's only one plan in that terrace home offering that has all the bedrooms upstairs, and it's our least popular plan. The majority that people will choose in here will have a bedroom, have a owner's suite on the main floor.
Are these all basements?
No basements on
No
those.
basements, okay. Do you provide any kind of shelter or something like that then for tornado shelter or something like that for people to go to, or you just?
No, we've been building slab on grade construction, not as the majority of our offering, but it's been a substantial part of our offering at Eastbrook Homes for probably 10 years now.
Okay.
And it's ever growing with people desiring living on a main floor. But no, we hadn't had that question before.
6-foot privacy fences, where are those at? And why what you need
Zoom
those?
in further, I can explain how those function right here. So I'm just going to use A1 as an example, this unit here. So this would be the south end of this unit. This side would be called the passive side of this unit. So there'd be kind of transom windows here. This is the active side. So all full height windows looking out on this space. So this fence and this fence and the one in the front back, create this yard or A1. This is that interior space I was describing that could be garden beds, it could be a number of different things. We have photography that you look at the architectural pattern book, there's a bunch of examples in there, but it's basically creating this space. The next unit, same thing, they just kind of each have a big side yard space and then the space between the garage and the house itself creates a very nice living situation for outdoors. You can do an outdoor kitchen, there's a number of different things you can do. But the fence is because you are living in closer proximity than you might be if you bought a big lot. This creates that privacy you want without having the giant yard that a lot of people don't want to take care of. It's interesting with this product, and we've seen it appeal to empty nesters, but we've also seen it appeal to young professionals and single parents who don't want to take care of a half-acre yard. And then in the townhome, these similar concept. But the fencing, you asked specifically about the fencing, that does the same thing here. That private space that, frankly, in many condominium situations lack, that you don't have a private outdoor space outside of your deck, because most condominiums are in the context of a with all the general common elements. They don't actually have a specific space that only they can use. This provides that in a way that no other condo setup can. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a chance that you would think about going off of 36th Street first before you do a unit like that? Just like was brought up, planning commission as far as emergency vehicles, buses, this and that, next thing, give you an easier out than heading all the way down to winding through to Tyler Street?
It's not, the neighborhood as a whole has, this will be the third connection to a major road, or a road external to our project. We've got a connection to Taylor, 36, and Bauer, which is more than most communities have. So it's not uncommon within the context of the whole community to have pockets that connect internally only. And I would say, in the case, right, that question did come up, obviously we have to meet all the requirements for safety. We've done that based on the fire department's review. And I think I made this comment at the planning commission. And this is probably one of the parts of a community that has the most redundant ways to get out of anywhere else because of the cross connections of the alley. The scenarios you hear thrown out, like, what if a tree falls over and we can't get back there? Well, in this case, you've got so many different ways to get out. It's probably one of the safest places from an access standpoint. Two connections out here to the main road and then a myriad of ways to get out. So would it concern me at all? No, it does not. Met the approval of the fire department and then all the.
It would just be a lot easier if that 36 connection was there, even for construction-wise, or whatever it ran.
I don't think it would appeal to people in the same way.
No.
Because we have our connection here. I think this is going to create an intimate kind of sub-community of a larger community, which is kind of what you want when you create a pocket of condominium form of ownership. So to me, I think it's planned very well, obviously.
No, I mean, I like the plan. I just wondered if what's below it, 36, connecting 36 would be.
You're talking about a sequence of
Yeah, sequence
He's not talking about a new connection from this development. He's saying sequencing it so that,
right.
that will put in first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did misunderstand.
I'm sorry. Maybe I didn't come across right.
I go back to my first comment in that we've got two existing forms of access, and actually from here, you could go this way or you could go this way. So you do have two different ways to get out. Personally, for me, it doesn't concern me from a marketing standpoint or a safety standpoint.
Hollis Drive and Deer Haven Drive out there in phase 15, what is the width? Are those like 24? The actual?
Public roads.
Okay, so they're 66-foot easement, but how wide is the actual asphalt?
I would have I think Iowa County roads are 30 foot, I believe. I could be mistaken. No.
And then
It's a standard residential public street as every other one.
Okay.
And any of the other public subdivisions.
Help me then, the surrounding, what you call private road A, private road B, private road C, what is the width of those? Are those 24? or what, 22? What's the oval, if you will?
I mean, I'll have to look at the plans. I don't want to
Well,
misspeak.
they look wider, obviously, than the alleys. The alleys have to be at least 20, right, to get approval from fire department. Is that what those are?
I don't want to speak without having my
Okay.
plan in front of me. I didn't expect that.
As you're grabbing it, Michael, I mean, that is the thing that I trip over the most as I look at this, is those roads, those alleys, as you referred to it, going, what would that be, north and south? And then you've got the surrounding private roads, which are slightly wider. How many units in all in there?
121.
782.
No, but in just this section we're looking at.
How many units are in there?
Units in that particular section, you can go back down.
I mean, I can do that.
No, it's all right. It looks to be, it's certainly over 100. Whatever, it's a lot, right?
A, B, and C equal 121.
What is it?
I had 121 between A, B,
That
and C.
sounds about right. If you just added A, B, and C, then I'm sure you got it right.
All right. And yeah, and the width on the north and south alleys.
20 feet,
And then how about the
26
26?
on the perimeter, private road A, B, and C.
And Hollis and those public, they're 30 or 30 something.
26 is consistent with pretty much most of the private roads, and 20 is not at all uncommon. We've built some narrower than that. We're reviewed in detail by the fire department.
Yeah, they may pass the fire department, but I'm not sure that automatically means public health, safety, and welfare from the standpoint of the board in protecting residents. So I get it that it passed fire. I'm just concerned about it. Were concerns raised about the width in particular of those alleyways? Because that's where if you look at, for example, those.
There's none.
No.
No concerns were raised at the planning commission with respect to the alley widths.
How about to just traffic safety in general and pedestrian safety?
Not pertaining specifically to the width of the alleys, no.
Okay,
There were no
what
comments.
was it pertaining to if it was raised?
Well, the comments that were raised about health and safety had nothing to do with the interior of our projects at all. They had to do with Fillmore and primarily Fillmore was what was discussed at the planning commission meeting, unless I'm misremembering, but that was a preponderance of the comments were pertaining to that,
Okay.
not related to the interior design of this project.
What did the Fillmore people complain about?
Theirs was
Broadly
mostly
talking about
traffic and
speeding.
light pollution and certain things like that came up.
Yeah.
It's an interesting setup. I mean, the single-family homes that are around the outside of it are semi-traditional, albeit very close together. But they've got your drive, you've got your attached garage, you've got your access to the 26-foot wide private drive road. It's more that alleyway that really concerns me, because a number of those, that is essentially their front, right? Because it's the only street that they face, street, if you will, alley. In fact, for most of them, is that considered the front? Is the alley considered the front of these different lots?
If you're asking me, I think the way your ordinance is read, that would be how you'd have to, because there's no other road that those interior ones front on. I've never heard of that referred to as a front, but it is the only vehicular access to this row, this row, this row, and this row. Obviously, these on the end have the road in the front and the alley behind.
Right. They have the road in front that they look at on those end ones there. I just, even those that have that road that they look over, everyone goes down those alleys at 20 feet of width. Where do they park? Where will people park other than the 2 cars that go in the garage for one of those units? You've got the rest of your family over. It's Thanksgiving. You've got a party at your place. You've got a graduation party, whatever the case may be. You could say that even for those outside private drives. Where do people park? There's not, it doesn't seem, you know what they will do, I suppose. You've got some areas, I think, where you could go to some additional parking there in the lower right-hand corner. And I see some along that private road C and some along private road A. So I see where you guys have put some spaces in there, but realistically, go ahead. I don't think.
Well, I think that's just me trying to answer your question. You asked where would they park. My first answer would be the 2 spaces you mentioned, obviously in the garage, and every single one of these units also has a driveway where 2 additional cars can fit, which isn't dissimilar from traditional, front-loaded single-family housing. And then in addition to the normal, we do have the parking spaces you alluded to that aren't in every subdivision or even every condo project for that matter. You have parking in 4 different locations there, plus the additional parking for the pool. So we were pretty intentional about adding additional parking in addition to the garages and driveways. So that was not brought up as a concern.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim.
In January, I'm not going to carry my potato salads if I cooked from one of those parking lots to one of those interior units. I'm going to figure out a way to jimmy my car in somewhere, and if there's too many people there, I'm going to figure out a way to park along the side. I'm envisioning you're driving down one of those roads. It could be a nice part of the year, but people in those driveways with such little distance to that narrow alleyway that the ball goes out there and the kid chases it. It's not the kind of visual.
Wait, the ball goes out from where?
It could go out from the yard there alongside the house, past the garage into the alley, and they go.
Well, one, it can't do that because you have. I guess the difference, maybe what's being missed, is in this form of living, this becomes a very utilitarian corridor where you do have vehicular traffic and you do have to accommodate the parking for the unit itself, but the living occurs here and out front. I mean, so if you go downtown and look at some of the alley situations there, and we have other communities like this that we've developed, I've not seen guests park in the alley, if that's what you're wondering. I can't sit here and say no one's ever going to try to do that. I don't know if they will, but we were intentional with the parking that we added in addition to the driveway. So
What? Yeah. Didn't you encourage us to look at Macatawa Legends? Wasn't one of the places that you wanted people to look at? To the style of
similarities, not as many as Cook's Crossing, but yeah, some portions of Macatawa are similar in some respects.
Macatawa had more roadway, more, I don't know if it was public or what, but wider. I think of where I lived. If you're trying to replicate sort of a throwback, I think of where I lived in Granville for a number of years, and you had the alleyways still with the small garages that were originally constructed for carriages and what have you. But even those had a public road out front where you parked. Whether you're the homeowner or you're a guest, you didn't go down that alley because you had that option. Here, I don't see that option. I don't see the traffic setup there and parking setup as safe, honestly.
I guess my response would be, every time we've had an opportunity to create a community like this, and there's an option to create units and homes that front onto a green park space and a park space, I recognize Macatawa wasn't a great example of that. Some of those homes did, but others fronted onto a road. The homes that front onto a green space, like these units here, let's just say these 2 rows that are detached, so they're similar in respect both on the ends. These will be preferred by customers because of the fact that they front onto a shared green space. It's not perceived as a negative. In fact, it's a positive. If you look at stormwater, impervious surface, the fact that we have an opportunity to create a community design that doesn't have twice as much blacktop as is actually necessary, most places we've gone, that's been received as very much a positive and also something that the customers view as a positive. And the only other thing I say with respect to the alleys is that it meets all of the requirements of probably the most important agency that's going to look at it, and that's the fire department. And that's who we always, no different than when I design public roads, I have to ask the road commission how to build them. When I design a storm sewer system, I have to talk to the Ottawa County Water Resource Commission as to how to design it. And when I talk about safety, road construction and road widths, the fire department is the one that has a say on that. So that's who
I
we
mean,
went to.
it's one thing to talk about getting a vehicle, well, very large, you know, fire truck or something potentially in there to put out a fire or some other sort of emergency matter. It's another just to say the general day-to-day safety of the residents themselves, right? Which is part of our charge.
Fair enough.
To protect.
Fair enough. These roads are not road commission roads, though. Private roads.
It's all private roads, right?
Private road. Understood. I was just using it as an I example. realize that, but you said you got to go to the Ottawa County Road Commission for them roads. You don't because it's private roads. No, that's not what I was saying. I was saying if I was just making a comparison between the fire department having purview over this particular aspect of any community design is that they have purview over the radius and the private roads. Because the road commission doesn't, then they look at the private road design. They looked at, I think your write-up talks about it. They looked at this high ground, they looked at the geometry here, they looked at the alleys. They did specifically look at the width of the alleys and determined them to be sufficient. So that's why we designed it that way. That's how we designed it. It got approved. I didn't anticipate, I guess, a lengthy conversation on it, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it. I just don't know how else to say how it got to where it is. That's how the design ended up here, and it was approved by who I thought was the agency that had purview over that. My question would be, because it's so dense, it all looks green now, but we actually have snow right now. I see a huge issue with trying to remove snow out of that project. And with snowbanks, it does create an issue for fire trucks and whatever. Because if you don't get them cleared out in the corners, you're going to have a problem.
I don't think I'd limit that comment, Gary, to fire trucks though, because the fallback is, well, the fire people, you know, the fire chief said, okay. I think just to the health, welfare, and safety of residents.
Right, but I'm looking at density, and I just think it's pretty dense when you got to start taking care of snow out of that whole business. So that's not going to be plowed by the road commission; it's going to be plowed by private. Correct.
What do you think about that?
We deal with snow removal in community. I don't want to argue with you guys. That's not what I came here to do. I just wanted to present what we designed, and I don't have concerns about snow removal. We have other communities that are similar to this. Cook's Crossing, I was there today. We've had a bunch of snow. A guy came over from DeWitt Township to tour projects with me. I took him to that one. I wasn't worried about there being an inability to park. All the parking spaces we have there were available to me to park and take him and walk him through units. I mean, we could go through and I could tell you, well, I think a snowplow would push snow here. That's not my area of expertise. We hire professional snow removal companies to take care of that. So I don't want to tell you, I don't think that's what you want to do, is let me make the case for why it would work fine. I think it would, but it's fair for you to bring up the concern, I suppose.
Are all the garages, two-stall garages?
Correct.
400
Well,
square feet?
there are some threes, there are some opportunities for three-stall. And all of these units around the perimeter are semi-custom. Same with some of these. Now, there are some where we know we have space for a three-stall garage, but at minimum, they will have a two-stall garage.
You know, Mike, I don't think so much that we're arguing as we are giving you a chance to acquit yourself on some of our concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point about who has the purview, I mean, it's in our ordinance. That's why we're here, right? That we've got to pass not in a rubber stamp sense, but we need to pass on what they've decided. And I understand we do show them great deference. Our planning commission does a great job, and appreciate often what they bring us is more or less in what you might call final form.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to independently as a body think through these things, and I appreciate you standing there and giving it back, So,
absolutely. No, I think with respect to the road configuration, the conversations that were had at the planning commission with respect to the alleys, the widths, were basically that this is what we charge our fire folks to do. And they knew it had been reviewed. There's a letter in there that talked about some things that still have to be resolved with how we handle fire and safety for those center 6-unit buildings in each run. But outside of that, they placed faith in the fact that the fire department had done the review and approved it from that standpoint.
Talk to me for a moment, if you would, about sidewalks. I know that there was some mention of the fact there might be a request for some waiver from the Utilities Committee, forthcoming, but unless and until that would happen, does this depict all the sidewalks that will be included in the plan, or some just not on there in anticipation that they may be waived?
This is a depiction of how we would like to build the project, and is how it was presented to the Planning Commission. And that was why I mentioned it earlier, but yes, the waiver would be required for, one, to not have sidewalk on the perimeter. I think it's required in both sides of the building.
Point to that, if you would, where you mean.
Well, there is no sidewalk on the outside ring. So one of the first things I mentioned with the design of the project is that we put the sidewalk on the inside throughout the project along the park spaces, with the thought being that you don't cross driveways. Here you've got, it's a more compact form of living. So we take the pedestrian traffic, focus it here where you don't have to cross nearly as many driveways. So we would need a waiver to not have it on the outside, and technically we need a waiver to not have it in the alleys. We have never once done a rear-loaded project. We got the garages in the back, and I grant you that your ordinance also is the front. But for the purposes of how people live, this is the back. We have never put sidewalk in an alley in any town ever. It makes a lot more sense to put that traffic on the front. So the waiver, I think, you can clarify if I'm missing anything, but I think the sidewalk waiver is two things: to not have it on the alley and to not have it on the outside.
Is that accurate?
It's going to be on the east side. Are you going to put it on the east side to connect with Hollis Drive? And
Yes.
yes, there will be a sidewalk there.
Correct.
Okay. That'll be normal, just to connect the residentials.
So this whole project will be a condominium? There will be, yes. There will be multiple condominiums. There'll be probably 3. We'll have one condominium association for the attached units, so that would be 1, 2, 3, these 6 buildings, because those have to include exterior building maintenance, whereas on the detached, we do not include exterior building maintenance. It's up to the homeowner to decide when they paint their front door, but the rest of the exterior, the grass, they will be part of a condominium association. 3 separate. The exterior just means the snow plowing in the grass. Snow plowing, fertilization, trash, mowing,
Flowers or shrubbery.
weed removal. So anything that's basically visible to the other residents, like the front portions of all these, the only thing that's not taken care of by the HOA from a grounds standpoint is this space on the inside. Now, the outside, we envision those owners, we might set that up so they can take care of their own. I'm not positive about that. We'll take another step, but there will still be an association over those.
You got a central postal area then for them too, then, or how do you do that?
Postal area?
Where they get their mail? And
So every community we do
just has one.
Has to have a central postal delivery.
One big.
And I don't know, I don't handle that specific thing, but again, if it's the post office who tells us how to do it. I think there is space, I don't know for sure, but we have a bunch of them at the clubhouse now. We would have space to put another one up here. It's really dictated by the postal carrier, how many of the locations they'll even allow you inside of a project of this size, even for all of Blowing Woods. They've become very particular, not just in Georgetown Township, but anywhere we do a community of even 50 houses, they still want them in ideally 1 or 2 spaces. So yes, there will be no individual mailboxes, but I can't speculate as to exactly where the postal carrier will want us to place that.
How about garbage? Will that be there a central area for that as well, or do they go down the alleys picking up from each individual?
Individual trash receptacles. So probably the same thing you have at your house for 1 trash and 1 recycling. I was assuming you have recycling, but yes, that's how these would be treated as well.
Any more questions for Michael?
Mike, I'm on the Utilities Committee. I'm concerned about the lack of sidewalks. That bothers me a great deal. The alleys being 20 feet wide, that very much concerns me. Snow removal, garbage trucks going down there, visitors. So are the visitors going to have to go to one of those other areas and then walk? If you have people that just stop by and there's not parking because both stalls are taken and they park on the road and then you're trying to get a garbage truck down or snow plowing, I'm very, very concerned. This is very unique, but I'm worried about traffic and I'm worried about safety.
It may be unique to here, but I would say it's not unique to many places. It's not uncommon in residential communities to have alley-loaded homes that are fronting onto a park space. And I guess I wish we had spent time looking at the photography, because I think you are missing maybe the benefit of something that's not the same as everything else that's around here. Some of the dimensional challenges aside, now, if that alley were 26 feet, would that make the difference? Like, we still personally wouldn't want people parking on that, and we would say that you shouldn't park back there. And I would tell you right now that I've not once driven through a community like this where people have parked in the alley. That's the reason there are other transient spaces, I'll call them, for visitors. And you're talking about a walking distance of, like, if you have to walk the longest distance, the very longest from here to the middle is like 200 feet. That's not a long distance.
But
So I don't share the concern about people having to walk from their car to visit.
There's some signage going up also, wasn't there, in that, when you talked to the fire department as far as not parking in certain, wasn't that?
I mean, Ryan might know all the requirements better than me, but whatever requirements there were, we are
There was a little
obligated to
stipulation on
follow
that too.
them.
But children have to cross the street to get to a sidewalk.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have, and I think this was cited in our submittal, there are multiple condominium projects inside of this township that have no sidewalks, two of which exist inside of Lowing Woods that we built, that you approved, that have no sidewalks. Not on one side of the street, they have them on 0 sides of the street. So it's not without precedent. And I would say that by focusing the pedestrian traffic here, where they're not crossing a driveway, is better. Yes, they have to cross a street once, but they don't have to cross 46 driveways as they're going around the perimeter, where people are backing out. Now, I understand that in other parts, there are driveways across the sidewalk. It's just when you have a different form of living, we felt like this was better. That's not to say we're completely against the idea of putting them there, but we presented it in this way because we thought it made good sense. Rationale behind what we were requesting.
So in Lowing Woods, did we approve a variance for them not to have sidewalks? Or was that before there was a requirement?
I can't comment on that. I do not know.
Okay.
I have not had to come. We had this project. I started at Eastbrook in 2005, other than being a part of the business basically since I was born. But I was out of state for 10 years doing other things and came back. This PUD was approved. I think at that, I mean, we've had to come back in for every subsequent phase approval. Some of you sitting here probably know better than I do, and maybe can answer your question, John, better than I'm capable of answering. But if it would have been a contentious thing, we wouldn't have sent our engineer in to do it for us. I would have been here, and I haven't had to be here. So I just know we have those two streets, Brayburn and Bray Ridge are the two streets in there that do not have sidewalks on them. And they are all single family. There's a combination of attached and detached condominium units.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else for Michael? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, well, among the board discussion, I know sometime, oh, go ahead, Gene. Yeah.
I'm in favor of it, to be honest with you. I might be maybe the only one, but this isn't their first day in school, I guess, at putting up these projects and seeing some of the deviations that were in the notices that I think they are going to be able to meet. I understand some of the concerns, but I do also like the sidewalks going inside and through rather than on the outside. I think that is yeah, so the kids got to cross the street, but to cross the street in a condo unit with the road is only 24 feet wide. It's not like they're crossing 4 lanes of Baldwin or something like that. If we do have that kind of families that are on there anyway, like I said, could be young marrieds, it could be older ones, could be 80% of who decides that. It's not a place that I'd probably be because I don't like running through the rain from the garage to my house or go through a snowstorm to get into my house. I see, it's not something that I would probably really be interested in, but if the interest is there and the location where it's at to as far as maybe a township is to, maybe it ain't the right word, is to try this kind of concept and see how it goes. I think they've got a perfect setting for that. It's not that we're telling it this way we want the whole township to go, but if we want to see and get some different kind of housing developments in and see how it goes. Plus, big concern of the planning commission was cars and traffic and everything else, and by cutting it down by 47 less units, I mean, that's probably 100 different cars that ain't going to be there, and 100 plus more people aren't going to be using 36 of Fillmore, which that doesn't seem like a lot, but that was also a main concern with a lot of people. So I guess I'm in favor of passing it with what the planning commission suggested.
You mentioned you were at the planning commission meeting or meetings about this, and you mentioned something about traffic and safety concerns. You heard.
Yeah, some of the residents that were
Fillmore, but did they address it within the complex at all?
The major thing was in there was somebody brought up, which didn't even really live in the area, was school buses getting through, but they don't have to go into the project. The kids, if there is kids, will come to the end of the road anyway, and it's not going to be any harder for them to do that than it would be to go through Georgetown Forest with the maze that's there. So, and the concern was fire, which most of that going through the fire inspector seems to have been met. Height, I think, was an issue on one of it, but they guaranteed that they weren't going to be over 30-foot high because that was, if they went over 30 feet, they would definitely have to have the road a little bit wider through the alleys to put a ladder truck or whatever like that. But they met all those, and they are working on a couple, like you said, a couple of those little condos to be able to reach with a 100-foot line and all that kind of things. But
so the planning commission, they didn't discuss some of the concerns that we're raising about.
Sidewalk was talked about, but I think they figured that being around in there that could be waived. I didn't really hear too much about snow and garbage and that kind of stuff. Really, I don't think it was really brought up. I mean, Ryan's got some. If you read the minutes or what Ryan wrote, they're pretty consistent, exactly word for word for what was said at that meeting. But yeah, I took a long time, and I did drive out to one of Eastbrook's other things out there. I like this better than I seen there because a couple of them there, we had 2 or 3 units, but they're almost like on a hill, and I don't know how they got through some of that because that looked a lot more difficult to get around and maneuver and than this would be, being on just a nice flat
Referring
piece.
to what? Referring to the current plan?
What they have out in Byron Center, just to take a look at. I did drive out there and seen the concept of the alleyway and things like that. And I think this is a lot better and easier layout than what they had to go through up there.
How so?
Just because being on a hill and all that kind of thing, they had like 2 of them, and there was a little alleyway, and it just seemed a little more confusing to me than this does. I like this a lot better, just being flat out and right its own little.
Mm-hmm.
So you both spoke on the residents from Fillmore complaining about different things, but
Most of
nobody
the
really
people are
said.
from Fillmore.
So is it because this development is too close to their backyards on Fillmore?
Well, they made concerns about there's some big pond or something that was dug, water retention area, and they all wondered about that. And that was, like Ed Kelly had said before, a water resource thing that made them make it bigger just to handle not this thing, but Project 15 and everything else. They just had enough place for water run, and there was some of them that complained about, but I don't know if it was anything from this one. It's already what's in progress with the lighting from streetlights and stuff like that. Now, of course, wintertime, they can see some of those lights through their trees, and a big thing was just all the traffic down Fillmore. I don't know if you can really blame that on that, because Grand Valley is getting so big that
Well, and I
all that
suppose
traffic is Grand Valley.
the rebuttal to that is that the currently approved PUD there is for more units than is this. The traffic issue is almost already, it's already baked in the cake
Right,
in a sense,
yeah,
you know, in that respect, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I know sometimes you know, Ryan will sometimes set up or allow people to set up pre-application meetings and the like. Here, you already had an approved PUD, so I didn't consider it unusual that we didn't do that here, but sometimes that fleshes out some of these concerns because there is a dual process of approval both before the Planning Commission and then coming before this board as well. And sometimes you don't know what one body thinks, you know, until you've gone through the other and reached that second body. So looking at this independently and looking at the requirements, Section 2210 in particular, because I think if I'm going to state concerns, I want to be very particular and precise and not just generally, you know, come up with opinions. I look at sections A and C of Section 2210 of our standards for approval for a PUD, and it talks about the proposed PUD complying with all qualifying conditions of Section 22.2, and also that the proposed uses within the PUD will not possess conditions or effects that would be injurious to the public health, safety, or welfare of the community. So A and C to me are relevant here. And then looking at 22.2, the qualifying conditions, the ones that seem relevant there would include, in my mind, both pedestrian, letter E, and traffic, letter G. More so traffic, but also pedestrian, really. We tend to think of pedestrian, you know, they have to be going down a sidewalk or intending to get from point A to point B. Sometimes it's just usages in the area, you know, in and around the roadway, children or otherwise, right? So E and G of 22.2 fall back to requirement A under 22.10. And then you've got letter C there under 22.10 again with the public health, safety, or welfare of the community. I look at that, and you've kind of heard me by now, just with some of the questioning, but I'm not satisfied with the answers tonight on those concerns. It works great in one place or another until it doesn't, until somebody has a real issue, whether that be somebody being struck and killed, and that can happen anywhere. It can happen with any width road. I fully acknowledge that. I feel like the risk is heightened with what's been proposed here. I feel like the width of those alleys is not sufficient for the usage that is intended, whether that be for parking, whether that be for pedestrians, whether that be for you know, traffic at cross purposes with garbage truck and other uses that will be foreseeable. I don't think, practically speaking, that people are going to necessarily park and walk. It just seems like it's a creative idea. I would hand it, I mean, Eastbrook does great work. We've seen their work in this community and other communities, and I've known his father, Mick, from way back, and obviously we're dealing with an experienced, capable, creative, successful builder, right? And we've got a very good planning commission, and they do a good job, and they've vetted much of this so that when you say, well, is it too close to the, they've looked at that, you know, I mean, I think they are very careful in those things, and you could say to some degree, is it a judgment call? I guess it is, and we're charged with exercising that judgment on behalf of our residents, and to me, especially those alleyways there, and the way that that's configured, to me, is injurious to the public health, safety, or welfare of the community. I think it can be done better, safer. I'm not here to prescribe, you know, you need to do exactly this width or feet, but what I see and what's being proposed, I don't think is in the ultimate best interest of our residents, including those that would buy in there with eyes wide open, okay? And those that would come after them, and the guests that would come to visit them, and the third parties that would come to, you know, fix things and pick things up like garbage and the like. I don't think the traffic and the pedestrian qualifying conditions are met under 22.2, and I don't think, therefore, that letter A under 22.10 is met under this current plan, nor do I think letter C under 22.10 is met either. So you've got 1 for and you got 1 against. And no motion on the floor, I might add. So, well, that's why we had you come up early. I don't mind. Go ahead, Michael, but that's why we gave you a chance to, as you put it, argue with us. But
You had mentioned a pre-application meeting, which I did have with both Ryan and the fire department. So we had them review for these things, and that's why it came to you in this form. It wasn't like, I'm hell-bent on this 20-foot alley. It was how we designed it, yes. But it also was reviewed by the portion of your township that I thought, and maybe I wrongfully assumed, that they were the ones who had the say on the road design and the geometry. Because generally when we have to do like movement, sometimes we'll have to do turning movements. We'll have to put like, the engineers can do those things where they show exactly how a vehicle is going to move. We'll have to do a variety of different things to get them to work. And then usually once it passes that muster, that, at least that part, recognizing we got to go through a lot, oftentimes the planning commission and board to deal with other comments. But they did look at that, and Ryan can speak to that if you want him to, but that's why it came to you in that form. It wasn't us saying, well, this is, absolutely how it's got to be. I think we are willing to listen and have some flexibility. It's just up to this, this is how it got here to this point. And then with respect to the only thing I'd say in the comments from the public, we had not one person, neither tonight or the previous meeting, show up specifically for our project. Their comments were general in nature. They did comment related to Lowing Woods Phase 15. I think is when we were looking at those lots.
On the ravine and
North
stuff
end of
like that.
15, where those people on film were like, well, I can kind of see those houses now. Well, not surprisingly, the leaves are off the trees. But the comments, I just think it's fair to clarify that they were more general in nature. They weren't specific to ours. And in fact, when we talked about this being a 47 home reduction, kind of following up on yours, I said, well, that's not going to make it worse,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair point. Thank you.
So should we vote on it then?
Well, others wish to express what you do.
I'm still struggling with the density. I just think it's just too close, too narrow roads, no room for movement. I've never seen a project like this, I guess, that's close. That's too many people, too many buildings with narrow driveways.
Kevin?
I'm right there as well. The first time I looked at it, I thought, and you're right on top of every one of your neighbors. And I lived in a house for 20 plus years that had a shared driveway, and granted it wasn't my own personal driveway, it was a shared driveway, and I had 20 feet, not even 18 feet between my house and the other house, and it was the most, I wouldn't do it again, let's just say that. And again, looking at this, I know it's not, you have individual driveways, individual lots, but it just seems to me it's just so dense. I'd hate to have one of those units catch fire because it seems like it would just go from unit to unit. At least the heat damage from one unit to the next unit be right there.
Gene, I'm sorry.
I very much appreciate Mike's professionalism and the quality of work that they do. They're well-known and they're committed to the communities. But the alley, it's 20 feet wide, and I agree with Gary, that is just an incredible concern. Garbage trucks, snow removal, children being able to, lack of sidewalks. I just see a lot of red flags with this, but very narrow. I was brought up on an alley, and it's, when the garbage truck comes, it all becomes one way when that thing's going down. I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, I had an alley too, but we had a public street on the other side.
Out in front, we did, yes.
Yeah. Gene?
If you look at,
yeah.
I don't know if you looked at what the proposal was before this, as far as residential and more condos down on the corner. I mean, it looks like almost at that one, the road might come off to 36, but that's a lot in a small space also. I mean, you're cramming another 47, units into there and stuff yet too. I think they made every effort to do what they've been told to do and everything else. And I'm sticking with what the planning commission approved, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
Fair enough. I think that prior iteration, the one that's already been approved, is pretty compact and all that, but it's approved, right? I mean, this board may have viewed it differently had they looked at it then, but I think that it is materially different too here, though. The concerns being raised are materially different than the way it's currently configured. It presents some unique threats, if you will, which may be addressed and may be resolved. What's that?
That's a pretty harsh word, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah, wrong, maybe. Well, are we talking, if we're talking health, safety, and welfare, I guess it is.
Right.
Should I use the word injurious?
Yeah.
That was more judicious. I hear you. I mean, I guess, like you said, it's been approved in other places. I guess reasonable minds perhaps can differ, but we're charged with not others' residents, but our own, right?
Right.
Yes.
So, anyone wish to comment any further? I don't want to belabor this any more than we have, although it's important, so I want to take the time necessary. Anyone else? Hearing no one else.
We got to make a motion.
Yeah, there is no motion presently.
Make a motion to approve and then either approve it or deny it.
Yeah, if you think you got a second, we haven't heard much from Amy, but you could try with the motion to approve, or I could start with.
I make a motion we approve as brought forth by the planning commission with the deviations and stuff set in by Ryan.
Yeah, and according to the resolution recommended by the planning commission here. That's in the agenda, right?
Yes.
Is there a second to that motion? Okay. Hearing none, that motion fails. I'll move then to deny the resolution, the proposed resolution, rather, deny the application, I think is a more precise way to put it. And I want to be specific so that if I'm the applicant, I know what concern I'm addressing. So I've done it already, but I want to do so in my motion. I would move that we deny this particular application to revise the existing PUD pursuant to section 22.10 subsections A and C, as well as then A pointing towards section 22.2, and I would say subsections E for pedestrian and G for traffic, for the reasons already stated previously here, that I find that those conditions or standards are not met. Not suggesting they can't be with a further redesign or that they have to go back to what they have presently. I don't know. But I just know that what is in front of us here, in my opinion, doesn't meet those standards. So that's my motion. For a second.
So move. Support.
Okay, supported by Gary. Further comment, discussion, either on the language of the motion or further stated opposition. Gene, if you wish. Nope. Anyone? All right, this is a roll call vote, and we do not have our clerk, so I will call the roll. John?
Yes.
Gene?
No.
Okay, supervisors, yes. Amy?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And Kevin?
Yes.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1. Yes.
Can I please, I'd like to ask a clarifying question, so I do have some direction.
I'd say not at this time, but you can certainly talk to us or talk to me, or right, or even use your public comment period at the end, if you don't mind. I don't think we want to maybe overstep in that respect, or not being prepared for what those questions might be. I also don't want to step in something. So I get it. You're curious. We'll address it. Planning Commission will address it. All right. Moving on now to item number, well, let's have Kelly rejoin us. We're going to move on to item, oh, I'm sorry, Kelly, 10A. Premature, my apologies to you. Oh, of course, yeah, and I did say before too, 10 is brief enough that just stay right here. All right, so number 9, then, public comments about items on the agenda this evening. And I guess even though we had a public hearing already, if you want to make a statement backward-looking to things covered or forward-looking to things yet to be covered in this meeting, you're welcome to do so at this time. There you go. There's your opening. There's your opening.
First, I want to say I appreciate all your thoughts. I know you guys are here to do the best job you can for your community, so I don't take personal.
Thank you, Mike. And Michael, we're going to listen intently right now, but I also don't want you to be confused if we're not doing back and forth like we were. We tend to use this to absorb and listen. So
I just think my comment would be on health and safety stuff. I thought I was going to the correct source for that. So I think there's and you stated it's your opinion that we don't meet it. So I just want to be clear, I guess, what you owe us as a property owner in this township and an applicant is clear. And who do we go to resolve the issues with respect to is it the alley width? Is there a specific width that, in your opinion, would be better? I mean, we did adjudicate those, we thought, with the proper body here in the township. And I guess if there's specific direction we need, I would ask that either I get that through Ryan or somebody. I know you may not want to respond right now, but I do need to be provided clarity on how I am to meet your interpretation of those sections. And I will go back and read them so I understand them better. The only other thing I want to comment on that came up is that, Kevin's comment that I wouldn't live in that situation again, and it's just too tight. I think we have to be careful, and I have to do this when I design home plans, that I'm not designing something specifically for me. At my stage in my life right now, would I live there? No, I wouldn't. It's not right for me right now, but I'm charged with building residences that appeal to a lot of different buyer groups. That doesn't mean it's the terrace home or the townhome is the right solution for everyone here. Is it the right solution for a recently divorced parent who wants to stay in Lowing Woods with her kids? Possibly. We need to consider what their preferences are rather than your personal preference, because I recognize we all have personal preferences. I walk through homes that we build for a customer that wouldn't be built for me, but I'm not building every home for me. I'm building them for them. So we need to think about that in the context of the living situation choices we allow for. So not everyone wants an 85-foot lot and a half acre to mow and take care of. People do want different choices. I would just ask that based on some of the back and forth I heard from some of the board members, I would ask that you try to think about it in that way, that we are trying to build for people other than ourselves. We have to think really hard on that as we design communities, and we're trying to reach a broad segment of the population. What I build for a 30-year-old single parent or 40-year-old single parent is different than what I build for a family of 6 that is still living together and has a tractor. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
And again, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. And I'll just say, you can take a seat. I'll just comment, but you don't know what's going to coalesce before a meeting, right? And so to say that we're prepared to address that with the specificity you'd like, which I can understand you're wanting that, is not something that can be anticipated in advance, because I don't know where it's headed, right? I do know I brought up my concerns with Ryan, so it germinates at some point. You get more specific if you make a decision like we just did. There's got to be specificity, and I can understand that. But I also want to point out, I used the word opinion, but I changed it to the word judgment subsequently. We're exercising our sound discretion and judgment in our position as board members charged with the duty empowered by the ordinance to make the judgments that we just did a moment ago. So I don't want it to be seen as merely one's opinion, and I want to clarify that for the record. The other thing I want to clarify for the record, I want to do this one by one, but for those who voted, I want you to say, for the record, for the purpose of the recording of this meeting, did you vote on my very specific motion that cited very specific provisions of the ordinance based on your personal preference, whether it be about density or otherwise? I'll start with you, Kevin. Did you vote on personal preference?
I just voted on my belief that it wasn't in the public health and safety of the town.
Okay. You don't, yeah, I appreciate that. Did you vote on personal preference?
No.
How about you, Amy?
No.
And John?
No.
Okay. I just want to be clear about that. In next public comment, anyone? Yes, ma'am.
Can I speak again about the buffer?
I said you could go backward looking on this one. Yeah. I said you could speak to issues already covered, so go ahead. Yep.
I just want to clarify.
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ms. Johnson.
Pam Weston.
Oh, that's right. You're Ms. Johnson. Sorry.
that the east side buffer, there are deciduous trees there, but there aren't evergreen trees. And the discussion at the Planning Commission was the developer should make efforts to establish a more permanent landscaping buffer with evergreens when deciduous trees have lost their leaves. So both sides, and that property, that's the property on the south side, there will be the drive, but on the east side, it's just butted right up to the property of the homeowner right there. And so once those leaves fall off the trees, they'll be able to see all, there won't be any buffer. So that's why we want or evergreen trees on that side too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I'm Jerry Johnson,
Welcome.
668 44th Street. I do have some more concerns about that corner on 44th Street and 8th Avenue and the development going there. I wasn't able to come to the planning committee meeting, so I think there's like 57 residences going in there. And with the increased traffic burden, that corner has gone through a tremendous number of accidents. And if you live on 44th Street, even though we're back in the woods up on the hill, 44th Street is like a drag strip at certain times of the day. I mean, cars just are flying down that road. And it scares me. And I don't see any police doing that. There's no posted speed limit, so everybody thinks it's 75. And believe me, they use it. So from a health and safety standpoint, I think there's some real concerns about safety with adding another 100 vehicles coming in and out of that intersection. And it's become busy enough already. And I'm also concerned about our property values sitting back there and what this development is going to have on our personal property. I mean, I pay enough taxes on my place, and we all do up there, but I am concerned about property values with a development like this going in. Maybe some of you share that idea with me, so I just want to throw that out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Pete Plowman, 6877 Creek Ridge Court. I'm not sure, Justin, if you got the last name of the gentleman from Eastbrook and his address. You might want to get that as per policy and put that in the minutes. A couple things on the Eastbrook building, my same concerns. Narrow roads, a lot of snow, getting buses down there, and holy cow, 780 units. That's a lot of traffic, times 2 cars per house. That's a lot of traffic down 36th Street. You got a middle school down there. You got a grade school down there. 36th Street is going to be one busy road. You think Cottonwood is busy? That one's going to be busy. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the fire department that you have on the agenda tonight. Looks like you're hiring 6 people. It's going to cost the township $487,000. So when you're figuring out how much it costs per person for the fire department, it's $82,000 per head. Okay, when you're doing thumbnail sketches on costs going forward, it's $82,000 that is going to cost the taxpayer per person. That's their full wage and benefit package, which means we're going to have a very high bill after this year. We get the deficit, or we get the reduction on the AMR, $390K this year, but next year it's going to be over $1 million in costs for the fire department. That is 1/6 of Georgetown's budget. 1/6. So that means we need to be, or we will be, either looking for a property tax increase, or we're going to be doing a millage. And I wish you'd just come up and say, that's the strategy, that's what we're going to do forward. I guess that you're going to do a millage, because it's been talked about in finance, and even our fire chief told us he wants a separate head count for $30,000 for an assistant to do his HR. So another $30,000 on top of this. So we're going to be looking at a millage. Probably going to do it for the August election, since it'll be low turnout and you'll get the people you want for that. The other thing, oh, actually, that's it. Oh, I want to compliment Kelly. Thank you for recusing yourself. Weren't asked. Thank you for taking that personally and doing the right thing.
Anyone else?
Michael Bosch, 3245 Golden Oak Court. It's great to be back under the big top. I'm excited. But what brought me here tonight was item number 12, the banners, which was one of my goals back in 2017. After driving through Sandusky on the way to Cedar Point, saw the banners, and I came back to services and said, we need to do that. And John was on the committee. I don't know if you remember, you were on services in 2017. Anyway, I brought it up back then, didn't get the support, but I'm excited to see this happening now. I think it's a fantastic idea. Good work. So hopefully I see some yes votes for that tonight. Thanks.
Thank
All
you.
right. Others? Right. Seeing no one else, at this time, we'll close that public comment period. We'll move on to item number 10, which is our consent agenda as amended earlier. This is not 10A. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Support.
Moved and supported. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it is carried. Item 10A, which is Lowing Woods, number 15, request for approval of the layout of the preliminary plat. Is there a motion to grant that preliminary plat approval? All right, so moved. I'm moving.
Support.
All right. I moved, Amy supported. Would have been on the consent agenda, recall, but we removed it as 10A. This is the one for which it was 10-3, for which Amy is recused.
We got to do approval of
Kelly, I'm
bills.
sorry?
Yes.
Huh?
We got to do approval of bills first, or did I miss that?
We did the consent agenda.
Okay. Got it.
Yep. So 10A, which was formerly 10-3, is before you, moved and seconded.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item 11, Love Your Neighbor Resolution. Finance Committee, a motion to approve the Love Your Neighbor Resolution, which I'll gladly, it's actually in your agenda, and so I won't read it. You can read it yourself, just given the hour and so on. But I know we had representatives here that would like to come forward, and thank you, both of you. And just share briefly, if you would, with the board, your heart, both for the township and the ministry you're involved in, as you did with us in finance. Thank you.
Neighbors serving this area. And I just wanted to thank you. One of the things that we are passionate about is not only relieving poverty, but building community, because most people experiencing financial poverty also experience relational poverty. And so inviting our entire community to be part of that, to make room for all of the people in our community, is what it takes in order to do the work that we do. So we couldn't do it without you and without other organizations, other businesses, and other churches. So thank you for playing a part in that.
And I just add it was a joy to work with your staff as we developed that, and I appreciate the way they've included local faith communities and churches in particular to look out for their neighbors. We're grateful.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you both. While you stand there still, while anyone wishes to react.
Well, when you presented to the Finance Committee, you're both very articulate and passionate about what you do, and we sure appreciate you serving the community and being dedicated to the community, and this is well-deserved. So thank you very much.
I'll read just the last two paragraphs if I could. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Georgetown Township Board hereby expresses its support for Love Your Neighbor and encourages residents, businesses, churches, schools, and civic organizations to participate actively in its mission. And be it further resolved that the township will explore opportunities to collaborate with Love Your Neighbor to provide greater value to all residents of Georgetown and support those who are most vulnerable. So thank you. Thank you for your mission and purpose and for pursuing it faithfully.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sitting through the meeting.
All right. So there's a motion before you, correct?
Yes.
I sometimes forget. We've got it. Okay, thank you. Anyone wish to add anything more? Otherwise, this will be a roll call vote as well.
Schwalm,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
Waringa,
Yes.
Beldink,
Yes.
Kuiper's yes, Grassman,
Yes.
all in favor.
All right, thank you. Item number 12 is the veterans banners. Is there a motion to approve an application process to order and put up military banners?
Jim,
Yes.
you want to give the resolution to
Oh,
take a
present the
picture?
plaque.
And
You know what?
Didn't they get
Yes.
on the way? Maybe take a picture.
Thank you. Would you like to?
What? Your dress.
Yeah, all right.
Oh.
In that case, if it's based on dress, Amy ought to do it. All right.
All right, 1, 2, 3, cheese. There we go.
Did you want one with your phone too, or?
Yeah, that'd be great. I got it. I can text them to you. Yep.
All right.
That's
Yeah.
theirs, Jim.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Look really good. Come look at it in our office. Jim's got them all hanging on his office wall. Takes them all home with him.
All right, thank you. Item 12, veterans banners. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Support.
All right. Anybody wish to talk about it briefly?
I do.
All right.
I wondered, I mean, I love the idea, the banners look fabulous, but could we partner with Meyer on this? You know, maybe even hang them at Meyer, also hang them here for a month, hang them at Meyer. And maybe their printing team could even do them, because they print so many banners, maybe they could even help with that, or, you know, do the cost of the printing. Just throwing it out there. I don't know if anybody has talked to a partner at all with this, because I would think that they're very, you know, philanthropy, you know, minded, and thought then it would save the township some money if we even just inquired.
Amy, I love that concept, and I think we ought to be thinking of possible partners and maybe even individuals that might want to put money towards it.
Yes. And the reason I say that is in my dad's senior complex in Florida, they got donations and they got some partners and put in a veterans, you know, did some things for their veterans at their community. And they got all donations so that the residents did not have to pay for it.
Wow.
I'm just throwing it out
I
there.
I like the idea, and if you wanted, after we set things in motion, if you'd like to do something along those lines,
Maybe you and I can go.
to help do that.
Well, this is definitely a pilot program. We kind of got it started because of the 250th, you know, birthday that our country's having here next year. And along with that, with the Historical Society, we kind of come up with this. So there's a lot that can be done and grow on this or whatever, but this, Andy, that's Andy's grandpa or something? That picture is, and so we wanted to get a sample, and we wanted to kind of get things rolling. And even the application fee, because we got it set up for 24 in here, but there's a possibility we could get, you know, 100 people that would like to get their, so it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be a process we're gonna have to work through. But to get other people involved, sure, but then I think we're almost gonna have to probably work on getting maybe a side committee set up or something to keep this moving forward.
Yeah.
The idea was to put them up at the library, outside the library. But as winter comes in and things change, I think we're wide open to many, many ideas on how to pursue this. And we hope it'll really take off. I'd love to see them going up and down the roads, but the cost involved in doing that and the maintenance is formidable. But we'd like to start at least with like our library.
Right.
And I think we can expand beyond that, but I never even occurred doing something with Meyer, but I love the idea.
Yeah, because they have a huge printing department, or they job all of their banners and everything out, or whatever.
Probably
they
go
do.
with this one firm right now, but as time goes on.
But yeah, I just thought, hey, I'm not opposed to making a sales call. Done it a lot in my past. So.
Yeah, I'll be the Grinch, because when you say stuff like that, I'm like, what's this gonna morph into? Everything always sounds good until it becomes annual, you know what I mean? So this isn't a one-time deal.
No.
So like another board beyond us is gonna say, how in the world are we spending $40,000 on banners? And it'd be like, well, another board got this thing started, and now you can't shut it down. I'm just trying to be the guy to point it out and say, that's what happens with this stuff. It always ends up going down the line, and then the next guy's going, man, this was a great idea when it
Then you
cost.
can be proud of it for the 4 years that you've been here and let them worry about it when they're out.
Yeah, that's forward thinking, but
To
I forward think a different way.
participate in the banner program, they've come up with $100. And so they help pay for the banner, and then if they'd like to keep the banner after it's lived its life, then they could take it. We're hoping to get people to donate to this above and beyond, and I think there would be individuals interested in that. And also we thought they would be, like with our bricks, they become very popular for people to give at Christmas time or around Veterans Day.
So how are we marketing
Hope was
it?
to get it started where people would see it and go, that is incredible. What can we do to honor our brother, our father, our grandfather? And it's a touching banner.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have to,
Agree.
someone has to help with the initial purchase.
But this vote tonight is strictly talking about this next year for the 250th anniversary of the country.
Right, and we also, I believe, there was a grant that was entered concerning this.
Mr. Reinstra applied for a grant to help offset the costs on this, so
Okay.
we submitted it, but we also have to there's a lag time to, one, advertise this, get people to submit pictures, information, and then build the banners, and then get them up before Memorial Day. So I know it's only 5 months away, but in production and everything else, there's lead time, so.
Fine, yeah.
I would think this type of thing would be very grant-worthy, and that we would stand a good chance. But if
All right,
not,
you know what I tell my guys, John, between thinking and knowing?
well,
I have enough people that tell me I think, but I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying, is this something that we start? And then next year you come and you go, yeah, we had a lot of people that want to get this thing, and now it's going to be $20,000. And once you get started, they're like, well, you did it for so-and-so. Why aren't you doing it for this? I just look at things a lot differently.
Can we always adjust the fee? Like they pay $100 to do it. Maybe that's for this year. Next year it's $200. I don't know. Donation.
I don't think we
No,
presuppose there's going to be a next year. We're voting on this next year. We're voting on the 250th anniversary.
Okay.
That seems to be worthy. I don't know that you will decide that every year thereafter you want them flying out here for all the way from Memorial Day to Veterans Day. I think there's other things you probably advertise. Could be the American flag, could be something GT related, could be something library related,
Yeah.
could be any number of things.
Okay.
But for this next year, that's a real focus when you consider our freedom at 250 years. So let's think about that year.
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah, that's good, yes.
All right. There's a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's carried. Number 13, Water and Sewer Connection Rate Resolution. Out of the Utilities Committee, looking at raising some connection cost. I don't know if Gary or Justin wishes to elaborate. I know you've provided us some good background information on this, so
Yeah, we're
ready to
just-
vote. I'm good with that too. Yeah.
So just raising connection fees for residential, commercial, because we need to take in more money to repair more pipes, basically. That's where the money goes. Time to raise them again.
I might add, in terms of where we stand with that, we were on the lower end, which is always what we say. We're now kind of moving into more of the mix, if you will. Granville, I know, just raised theirs. I know another point to be made perhaps with this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gary, but a lot of those sites being developed on the blended side of things, the 48th,
Yeah.
are going to pay these And that hits you guys like you, I get it, but
Yeah.
that, they're gonna be contributing more.
And we're getting less connection fees, because we're not building as many homes. But yet, the bills keep coming.
Just to be clear for the record here too, this has nothing to do with water rates to our residents.
No.
I don't wanna get confused with anybody.
Yes,
But
No.
correct.
anything further? All right, this, resolution, so if our clerk would call the roll?
Wieringa,
Yes.
Kuiper's a yes. Grassman,
Yes,
DeWitt,
Yes.
Belding,
Yes.
Schwam,
Yes.
Kelly.
Yes.
All those in favor.
All right, item 14, yet another resolution here. This is to authorize the issuance of refunding bonds to get some money back. So, Justin, briefly.
I can give a quick summary. So Ottawa County Public Utilities issues bonds on our behalf. And when they issue the bonds at one interest rates are going down. And since we use 2 billion gallons of water a year, we can save approximately about $40,000. So other communities, smaller communities, they don't feel the impact as much, but we do. So this is in our best interest, and it saves township water utility rate users money. So.
Any further comments? Saving money. All right. All in, actually, roll call. Yep.
Grassman,
yes,
Schwam,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Kuiper's yes. Wieringa,
Yes.
Belding,
Yes.
DeWitt,
Yes.
all in favor.
Thank you. Item 15, 2025 budget amendments. Is there a motion to approve the proposed 2025 budget amendments?
So move.
support.
All right, any conversation? I know that you've each received a summary and reviewed those.
Mhm.
Understand a lot of that is related to the fire department and our decision is it related to the county's withdrawal of paramedics.
One item, we have to amend the 2025 budget amendments. I found a few more departments that are a little getting close to the budget amount, so it'd be amendment to the motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Meaning,
So I can kind of walk us through. In 2025, we've had a large number of grave openings, more than we projected, and our senior center class fees that our patrons that visit our senior center are paying for fees, and it's higher than budgeted. So offsetting the cost for the senior center and the cemetery, we basically, the revenue for expenditures, and they balance out. We're getting close in our assessing and crossing guard. And probably the biggest one, I see Joe Bush over here. We have our drains that came in higher as we adopted a few more, one lilac drain, and we had some other drain maintenance items that came up for 2025 that the township participated in. And Rob Blitchak had a low number for drain maintenance. In the future, we're going to have a higher number, which has been approved on. And for this motion or this item, we're looking at a higher board or motion for amendments.
so to your comment a moment ago, it's not so much that we need to amend our motion as we need to be aware that the spreadsheet that was sent out originally to us was modified, as you just pointed out.
Okay.
It's still a budget amendment just pursuant to this spreadsheet right here.
Correct, yes.
Okay, with that understanding, any comments?
Do you need a motion for the amendment?
I do need a motion for the amendment too.
All right, that's what I'm suggesting. Are we really, we're not really amending?
You're adding this too.
Yeah, because it was, one item was approved at finance, and this item would have to be additional items approved. Yep.
So you'd like a motion?
Yeah.
We have a motion, we
add
have
the-
amendment to the motion.
I move that we add the amendment to the motion.
There we go.
Support.
What is-
There we go.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
There we go.
passed. Now, to vote on the amended motion, all right? We've had the amendment to the motion, now to vote on the overall amended motion now. Any further comment? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed, and somewhat hand in hand with that, item 16, 2026 budget amendments. Is there a motion to approve of those budget amendments as
So moved.
presented?
Support.
Okay, moved and supported. Comments? I think we've had Once you've had all your questions answered and looked into it.
Yep.
I think, is this the one where we're talking about hiring? I would like to make sure, if possible, that hiring that we do does have maybe the human resources requirements that would help us in the long run all the way down if we do decide to go from maybe part-time now to full-time later. I think it would help us with a lot of our policy books, that if we get somebody that's in HR that knows how to write some of these policies, help with hiring and firing, the list goes on and on. But I think at least if we can, I'd like to see if we can have you have a PHR degree or whatever, or HR.
Well, I think that budget amendment is, it's not a mandate to spend it, it's just in case, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, they talked about using it for 60% of the fire and that kind of thing. So sounds like it will be used, but.
It likely will. And to your point, you're saying you want a higher level of qualification, although you can't necessarily define what that is, what sort of certification that they get, or
Well,
would it
most
be enough
human
for you?
resources,
What's that?
I said most human resources people do have a PHR certification or document.
Certification?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're nodding your head, yeah, Kelly?
Yeah, and some experience in HR, I think.
Sure.
I think if we're making these moves to improve, the repertoire of our personnel as a whole, I think it's important that we make sure that we bring in people who are going to continue to always level us up.
Okay. And I think if Justin's sitting over there thinking, okay, what if I don't find someone qualified? I guess you could always come back and say, can we drop that requirement? Because finding somebody to do it part-time may be a challenge, maybe not. Maybe they'd say, that's perfect. I don't want to be full-time. So, all right, good points, both of you. So you would say as part of this, it's really, it's really separate from this in a sense. It's looking ahead to, and as the person who's charged and authorized to make that hiring, I don't know that we need to make a formal motion about how he hires or what criteria he uses. Is it enough that the board gives you that admonition? What's that?
That's perfect. We'll get it done.
Yeah, so we would like that qualification.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Is that satisfactory to each of you? Kelly?
Sure.
All right. All right, so back then to the motion itself. Any comments, any further comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. 17, banking resolution. This is to switch to West Michigan Community Bank. As many of you know, we were using, I want to say Macatawa, and then they were bought by Wintrust, which is out of Chicago, and we're looking to recenter ourselves so long as we get as good a rate with a local bank. So we looked at various local banks. This is one that was willing to make a really solid pitch toward us. I think we've got representatives here tonight. I appreciate that. You came to finance as well. You don't have to present, and yet you're welcome to make comments. Did you want to run through something? Yeah?
He has a few slides.
Yeah, please.
So you just want to click through there? If you want to...
Introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. My name is Matt Hooksma.
And where are you from, Matt?
I'm the president and CEO at West Michigan Community Bank.
Okay.
I live in Park Township out in Ottawa County. But again, I'm here as representative of West Michigan Community Bank, and thank you for the opportunity to do business with you. I'd say I've been in banking for 30 years. I've gotten a lot of jokes over my career about banker's hours, so I just want everybody to know it's not. Take a picture.
Open at 9.
The banker's hours joke. Now I don't have that, but the main thing I want to just tell you a little bit about our bank and who we are. Community banking is something that's near and dear to my soul. I was an employee of Macatawa Bank for 21 years. And now at West Michigan Community Bank, leading that bank because I believe in our communities, I believe in West Michigan, and I believe in community banking. And what does that mean? It means our people is our brand. I'll have Andrew stand up, Andrew Delbrons, our VP of Treasury Management, and Katie Putnam's our branch manager here in Jenison. And West Michigan Community Bank's a name, our people are our brand, and I'm here as a representative of Katie and Andrew, who I think do fantastic work. We're a 5-star Bauer-rated institution that speaks to the financial health of our organization. That's an independent agency that looks at banks, says that we're making good loans, we are profitable, our interest margin is steady, and we're a secure holder of fiduciary for the township. We're $1.12 billion in assets, so we've got some size and some scope, which gives us sophistication to provide a township like yours with the products and services you need that a lot of times smaller banks don't have and can't provide. Our goal is to be the premier banking franchise in West Michigan. And again, like West Michigan, we're a values-driven company. Values look good when you walk into companies and they're on the wall, right? In talking to Andrew and Katie on the way in, I think what makes us different, and the reason I believe in Michigan, is we walk the talk, right? You have that in Georgetown Township, you have that in your businesses, and we believe in people first. We put relationships at the center when our customers thrive. So we're locally committed, meaning our employees all live here in West Michigan. We give and we donate in West Michigan, and we make loan and deposit decisions here in West Michigan. Integrity always. We earn our stakeholders' trust by leading with transparency, honesty, and professionalism. And finally, excellence in action. Bring deep experience, service, and smart solutions to every interaction. And what makes us different? Again, back to the values and our people. Our core beliefs are local decision-making, seamless access to leadership. Me, represent the team tonight. I want you to have that relationship. Again, walking the talk, and relationships matter. Personal service from a dedicated team. Andrew, and that's Katie. Fast response time. You can expect instant or same-day responses from anybody on our team. That includes myself. Strong treasury management and fraud prevention tools. That's super important. We are fiduciaries for your deposits and for your money. So in addition to providing you with that competitive interest rate, we need to have the services provided in the fraud prevention so that you can protect your township residents. And finally, transparency and honesty. I'm here to speak to you. Thank you for the opportunity to do business with you. I know questions you may have on the proposal. Thanks again for your time.
I have a question real quick. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, you opened the door. You're local. Would you be willing to make a donation to our veteran banners?
Oh, stop.
Come on. I mean, you said he gets back to you right away. And,
Wow. No, I'm just on the record. Clear, this is in no way contingent on our vote.
Oh, that is priceless.
I couldn't help myself.
Have we voted yet?
But no, you can absolutely count on us. And again, back to those values and walking the talk. We give here, we decide here, and we will absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Andrew and Katie were incredible with the finance committee, and we asked a lot of very tough questions, and both very articulate, knowledgeable, and we felt comfortable. And there was a acquisition of our present bank, and so this gives us an opportunity to focus the funds more locally. And then Andrew explained in detail how that would happen, and we just all felt comfortable, and seems to be very strong integrity but they represented you very, very well. And Katie has a passion for the community. I think you live in the Hamilton area. Oh. I know. She's been here a lot. So good, solid people, and they have a great working relationship with Justin and Andrew. So
I'm fortunate to have both of these on my team. Absolutely. I'm humbled.
That's why you're in charge.
So Andrew,
thank you for waiting 2 hours.
Andrew and Katie importantly point out that we got a special rate given the size of the deposit that is made, and matched the highest we could find. And so we're not sacrificing in any way, just so you know, board, in terms of return. And then importantly to us as well, and I just would seek your confirmation again here in this meeting, that we would be able to have you diversify, as the previous bank did, our funds among this collage of banks, I guess, or however that works, to where you can get under the FDIC limit at each one so that your funds are fully protected.
Absolutely true. We use a product called the Interfi Network.
Yeah.
And essentially that shares your deposits invisible to you. It ultimately provides full FDIC coverage for the amount of your total deposit.
Yeah.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure to let Karen Cruz know that we are there because she's worked me over for years.
Karen's wonderful.
She's worked me.
I know she is. I'm in your branch a lot in Huntsville, so.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We still have to make a motion here, so.
Yep.
Is there a motion then to approve the selection of West Michigan Community Bank as our new bank that we will contract with? Okay. It's been supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It's passed, and we're glad to contract with you and do business. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate it. And you are welcome to leave or stay. We don't consider it rude. So. Yeah.
Banker's ours.
Yeah.
Item 18, committee appointments here as we approach a new calendar year. Is there a motion to approve of the committee appointments as presented to you through the agenda?
Support.
All right.
Did the one get changed, Justin?
Yes, there is.
We're fortunate that a lot of people who reach the end of their term want to re-up, which we really appreciate because we've had some really solid people that have served for a long time. Gene, you're new to Jenison Historical then, right?
Yes.
Appreciate you doing that. And then Goris, who I don't know is here tonight, doesn't have to be, but for our planning commission, there's one opening, and Goris Pashir, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, would be appointed to serve a term. He's a 60-plus year resident here locally and former small business owner and the like, and seems to bring a lot of passion for the township and just good understanding and background to that position. So that's my pitch. Questions, concerns? I have kept each of us on the committees we are, at least for the next year. We have had instances in the past where 2 years in there might be a switch. I'm not necessarily opposed to that in a year, but it seems like at least for this next year we ought to be staying with the committees where we are.
Mm-hmm.
All right, not hearing any discussion then. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed?
All right, it's 6-1. Item number 19, Globe Life Insurance. And Justin, you presented us with good background on that, and I know you did it in finance as well. I don't know if you wish to sum up briefly or just...
We have members here. They can answer any questions, but it's a no cost to the township. Basically, if members, like the fire department or any department wants to get life insurance, they could do it through Globe Life. And I guess ladies want to fill in anything at the podium?
Be great if you spoke.
Thanks for having us. Deborah Nelson, this is Jordan Ferrier. We're here representative Globe Life Liberty National's Worksite Division. So ultimately, we're here sharing the opportunity to provide some much needed benefits to your employees at no cost to the township. That's not going to replace anything that you do offer. We just have ways that we can supplement in regards to that as well.
Yeah, something I wanted to add was, of course, thank you guys for having us tonight. We're super excited to get the invite for that. But our company, Globe Life, the family of companies, I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to check out our worksite information. Our division has actually been around for 125 years. So we are a nationwide company. However, here in the state of Michigan, we do work very locally. Our office is actually right near the Woodland Mall. So we service the entire state of Michigan out of our Grand Rapids office, as well as a site that we have now in Troy. So we are the faces that, your employees see that service them rather than, a 1-800 number. We really take a lot of pride in that because we do know that that's a big difference maker in making sure that people feel cared for and, basically what we're offering them is ultimately what happens for them as far as, especially talking about insurance. We're dealing with really sensitive things, some of the hardest things that people are going to experience in their lifetime, whether that be a death of a loved one, a cancer diagnosis. We do supplemental health policies as well. So like Deborah mentioned, though, our biggest focus is not replacing anything your employees already have, but just having that personal approach just to make sure that we can answer questions, fill any gaps, and allow them to protect their families. So the goal there is me as well. Benefits, the township is going to see some savings as well. So of course, saving money. So while it's no cost to you, our goal is going to be to, show you guys that your employees will participate in those benefits and help you guys with savings. So do you guys have any questions for us that we can?
Well said.
That's easy.
Did a great job in committee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and sitting through the meeting
Yeah.
and speaking.
Yes.
We'll sponsor a banner.
But I better not. All right. All right, you guys heard that.
What are the minutes?
Well, enough, are we just in discussion?
We don't
Yes,
have a
yes.
motion yet.
Yep, we don't have a, let's put it before us then. Someone wish to motion to approve?
Yeah, so moved.
Support.
Right. Right. Go ahead, Gene.
I was the one that voted against it at the finance meeting, and part of it was answered in the packet that we had, that so I could feel better about it, is supporting just one particular, like putting our name behind one insurance company. There's a lot of insurance companies out there, but in the packet, it did say providers may request, their additional providers may be requested and approved in the future. So that means, there can be other companies or whatever can come to us or whatever, instead of just putting it behind one. So that made me feel a little bit better. And the only other thing, I don't know if we got brought up at finance or not, is how is this going to be a little bit of cost to us as far as a payroll deduction, or are they going to pay it strictly out of their pockets to them? Because if it gets a payroll deduction, then it does cost us a little bit, because we've got a $30,000 HR person that's going to be doing it probably or something.
So we talked about this earlier, and because the paid on call fluctuates with their pay, I felt more comfortable that if an employee, like a paid on call firefighter, signed up, that they handled the payments with Globe Life and not through our payroll.
All right. Then it is definitely a no cost. So.
Yeah,
right.
You can add anything.
Yeah, so for the full-time employees, if they do participate, we will go through payroll deduction. So we do make that process very simple and easy with that payroll administrator. But for those individuals that may not have, the pay at on-call, we do have the ability of going to permanent, or not permanent, but to bank draft. So all of our policies are permanent and portable in the event that they are no longer here. So we do already have that application, or that opportunity right from the get-go.
Thank you.
What are you rated? Like A plus? What's the, yeah. Well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
A plus. Huh?
Also, power scale. But first in our category, State Farm is the company that was the number one, and they don't know what we do. So
I see. Okay, good. Anyone else? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That carries. Item 26, time policy. This is directly impacted by recent state law. We need to amend our sick time policy. So is there a motion to approve the updated language?
I will make a motion to approve the updated language.
Support. Updated and supported, I think drafted through legal counsel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It's a thicket with these new rules.
Yeah, so last year we had to get through ESTA, that was required by February. Some policy changes at the state level. This is a benefit that we were able to give to employees before, and gives an incentive for employees not to call in sick. And I would like to reinstitute this, and I think it's a benefit to our employees, and it maintains what they had previously.
It is what it is, huh?
Yep.
And it's mandated through the state. We don't have any flexibility, but this would help us
Yes.
as far as our employees going, well, there is some bonus for me if I don't.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Right now, as a person's in their career, there's really no incentive for them not to use it, to use sick time. So this gives them incentive, not because of a paycheck, but also just to participate and be part of the team. So I feel like this is a great policy that Dan put together, and I like to continue on it.
Incentivizes people to show up,
Right.
right? I mean, that's,
Our people do normally, but
know
this
they
gives
do.
one more reason to.
right, one more reason. Yep. No, I know they're faithful. Okay, anybody else? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Passed. Okay, item 21, overtime and compensatory time. Is there a motion to approve the policy manual additions regarding these matters?
I will make a motion to approve these matters.
Moved by Amy,
Support.
supported by John. Again, if you wish, you can delve into it if you like. I know that you've presented us with background information.
Yep. So I have a motion, and then I have amendment to the motion that I'll ask for too. Talking with employees after the finance meeting, there was a gap, basically of emergencies that involved snow plowing, water sewer emergencies, and structure fires. And we need to have employees that are ready and able. As we run a lean ship that we do here in Georgetown Township, I need to call on people, and I need to have people show up to do emergencies when emergencies happen. So I request that the overtime and comp time policy, we have the motion and the amendment to the motion too.
All right, well, why don't we attend to that here a moment. There need to be a motion to amend the motion that's on the floor. Comments would be restricted just to the amendment itself. Is there a motion to amend the present motion?
So moved.
Support.
Okay, any comments on that amendment to the initial motion?
I'm confused.
He had to make some exceptions, but it'll be at his
So
judgment.
there's two different policies. So there's one that came out of finance, and then talking with employees, I requested that there be amendment to the motion that came out of finance. So Chelsea, if you can click on the second one. Thank you. So if you can zoom in on that. So basically, the first part of 4.6I, was what came out of finance. What was in yellow is the requested amendment that I'm requesting for the overtime policy. So I have the ability to basically give people overtime if they already called in sick or they had a vacation day earlier on in the week. The issue comes in like, for this week example, when we had 8 inches of heavy snow, employees didn't know that the snow was going to come on Saturday. So if they had a doctor's appointment and took an afternoon off on Monday of the prior week, they would be penalized by going to that doctor's appointment earlier on Monday. So this would allow me to say, hey, even though you took a doctor's appointment on Monday, it's snowing on Saturday, you would get overtime on that Saturday.
Sounds logical.
Yes.
And fair.
Right.
I like
So
this
is
better
that
than the
going
first
to,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
is that going
I
to
like this
half
better than
hour?
the first one.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I like this amended motion better than the first one. The first one's a little bit ambiguous. This is much more distinctive. I like this one better.
Yep. And then Part J, for dual trade employees, it'd go to the 30-minute increment. Currently in our policy book, it goes to 15-minute increment. So if you're, for example, DPW workers, if they're working and they have to stay late for some reason, there's a force main on borrower that's blowing all over, they're cleaning it up, it would go to a 15-minute increment. For the fire department, it would go to a 30-minute increment with no minimum time set applied to fire calls. So I guess the board can decide to go to a 15-minute increment. I would advise against that. I would go to at least a 30-minute increment.
Had it been an hour?
So when ESTA, we merged, with advice and direction from our attorney, we kind of blended the rules of paid on call and full-time. And it was really, I guess, pushing our overtime higher than it should have been. So this would, I guess, clean it up. I still believe it's fair and equitable to our employees, but there is a distinction between full-time and paid on call.
Will you be creating a subsequent internal SOP that defines this a bit better? Because I still think it's relatively ambiguous. The example you gave where somebody has a doctor's appointment and takes a half a day or something is very different and reasonable, I think, for receiving overtime on a Saturday than if somebody was, took 3 days of vacation time. Do they still get overtime on the Saturday for that? And how are employees to know when they may or may not get overtime on a Saturday? Because I do think there is some incentivization that can be inferred with this. So if somebody says like, well, if I already took 3 days of vacation time and they're not going to give me the overtime, I'm not going to call in, but it's okay if I only took a little bit of time for a doctor's appointment. I think it still leaves a lot up to the individual to decide what they think you're going to do. And I don't know that I love that piece of it. So I'm okay with an external policy being written where it speaks to your discretion, but I do think there should be some guidelines so that when person A, you decide to give overtime to on a Saturday and person B, you don't, it's fair and consistent every single time.
100%. So I had our attorney review this, and he actually drafted this language. So he said, as long as you employee do it equitably from that and department, we'd have no problems. But I do see your concerns.
Are you still, along with what Kelly said, are you still doing then, if a guy takes 1 or 2 days off the beginning of the week, he's on call that week or later that weekend or something, he gets something where he's got to come back to fix a sewer or...
Under this policy, he will.
Automatic don't they get an automatic 4.5 hours no matter what they do? If it's a 15-minute thing or an hour thing?
The DPW has different clauses for on-call that's, I guess, unrelated to this.
Okay.
So really this applies to, it applies to every other department. So really the only other departments that would get overtime would be township employees during election, parks and cemetery, and fire. And some of it we can plan and some of it we can't. So.
I think this tightens it up, makes it more professional. And before it was very ambiguous, and I think you need to be involved, and we don't have to micromanage you.
Yep, agreed.
Anyone else? Okay, so there was a motion to amend the original motion that's on the table right now.
Yep.
So all in favor of amending the original motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed.
All right, 6-1, and then now there can be further discussion, or we can go right to a vote on the amended verbiage now of what we'd be passing here for this overtime and compensatory time. Hearing nothing further, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Opposed.
All right. Carries. Item number 22, is there a motion to add to the Township Benefits Manual gym membership benefits available to all fire department employees? I was going to say as currently practiced, but not in policy form.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, there's a motion. Their approval of the motion?
I'll support it.
Okay, supported. It is before you. So I know the current practice is that they have an allotted amount for gym membership, as seen to be in line with the requirements of their job to be fit and prepared. I guess when finance discussed this, there were a couple of clarifications I made, one of which was that this would not be during work hours, The second of which is there would be some accountability in terms of the frequency of its use. That is, that in fact they're doing what the point of it is, right? To staying in shape and staying fit for their job. Anyone else wish to add?
How about if we have Matt come up here and just to address it? Because he was enlightening when he spoke to our finance committee. And also talked about they might modify it next year. He had some ideas on doing that.
Okay.
Matt DeWitt, Georgetown Fire Chief. Yeah, we talked about this in finance. We think it's a very important benefit. We started this with a former manager. We feel firefighter fitness is very important. A lot of the deaths in the fire service are related to health reasons, strokes, heart attacks, that kind of thing. They're not related to being injured inside of a fire anymore. There's been a big shift. So with that and preventative medicine, there's a big shift in the industry to how can we take care of injuries before they occur. That's according to your insurance company. It's everywhere right now, right? You can go to your insurance company and they'll give you a discount if you get this shot or you do this or do that. So we were looking at that. Plus we were looking at the industry standards. OSHA is also looking at drafting language, which would require fire brigades to be required to have a fitness program. So looking at that, plus the national numbers as far as injuries and fatalities and what we can do to prevent that, we feel like having a fitness program is very important. So that started the discussion, what can we do for our firefighters? So gym memberships came up because we don't have the equipment. We don't have a location or facility in our stations. A lot of full-time departments have that and offer that to their guys to either work out on duty or after duty, and we don't have a facility for that. So the gym memberships were the obvious choice, and yeah, we went forward with it last year, budgeted it this past year, and want to just continue that for this coming year.
Matt, how many are participating right now, and about what is it costing us?
Right now we have 25 members, and it's costing us about $10,000, $11,000. We pay a monthly fee. We allow them to pick the gym of choice according to where they live, so that they're close to their residence, and that gives them more incentive to go. Makes it more convenient, more easy for them, since we don't have a location just to go into the fire station and work out.
And they're not doing this on our time?
Not doing it on our work time, doing it on their own. We require 6 times a month that they're required to go. So yeah, we keep up on that. It is a check that we do monthly. We get the information right from the gym, and they send us a report, and then we can look at the report and make sure they're making their quota. If they don't make their quota, then they're looked to be dropped from the program. I think it's very important to have the accountability.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. I think there was a typo in what we received that said $35 up to $35, and I think it was intended to be $40 when we discussed it. Snap Fitness I know is $38.50, which is kind of one of the common places they go. So I just want to clarify that. When you agree with this motion or you disagree, we're talking $40. Everybody's clear? All right.
Well, when I did the math, I did it at $37 times 62 people if everyone were to sign up. And that's on the low side. $2,300 times 12 months would be $28,000 for that. I personally am a member at two gyms, tennis clubs, and I pay for that. So I'm kind of thinking that especially firemen should want to be fit, and everybody should do it on their own, or if they don't want to afford a gym membership, let's do a firemen's running group or something like that, or go out and run. I just think that that's a lot of money, so we're probably $35,000 a year if everybody were to do it. And I hope the township should be paying for that. Just a concern.
Yep.
So I'm just throwing it out there.
No, fair enough.
So I'm trying to read through. If I look at that, it looks like we're just doing benefits for the fire department. That's it?
No, it's for everybody.
It is for everybody.
Hmm?
No.
No.
It's for the fire.
Oh, okay. I thought it was for everybody.
But if you read this, if you read the benefit manual edition, it doesn't say fire department. It says Georgetown Township of subject to all qualifying employees.
See, that's what I thought.
The blank that isn't filled in.
And the reason I bring this up is, you know, we're making a big change. We're going to have a full-time fire department. And there's a lot of changes coming to the township. And I think we need to start looking at identifying the jobs in the township. You're a Georgetown Township employee that fixes water and sewer. You're a Georgetown Township employee that digs graves. You're a Georgetown Township employee who fights fires. I get a little nervous about this distinction. There's the Georgetown Township employees, and then there's a Georgetown Township Fire Department. No, you're a Georgetown Township employee that fights fires. And if you read this employee gym membership, that's for all the employees. It doesn't say anything about fire department, that whole paragraph.
That's what I thought too.
That's what I'm looking at.
It's the very last sentence that's undefined, yeah.
You fill that
Huh?
Very last sentence, which is undefined, is what narrows the scope, yeah. And you would say, I don't like the narrowness of it, but it would fall in that last sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
township employees.
I mean, we did talk though in finance, and it was a meeting that I had stepped in, I think, Jim, you were gone, about why wouldn't we offer this to everybody in the township, regardless of what department they work for? Because I guess what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, if it's an employee handbook or employee benefit, is it a benefit for everybody, or is you're mentioning just the fire department?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's some people in the office that would say, hey, I'd go if the township paid for it, or the guys that are digging the graves or working in the parks, cutting the grass.
Well, what's being said is we're doing this for health and human, right? Human health reasons. Well, I want everybody in the township employees to be healthy. I mean,
Exactly.
if that's what it's for.
But in saying that, Gary, are you making the further point of, and if that's the case, I don't want to pay for all employees, we should not pass anything? Is that, or are you, okay.
I won't vote for this if we're not going to look at all the employees. I don't think it's fair that we single out one department. They're Georgetown Township employees that fight fires. My DPW guys are lugging pipes and other things around too, which are just this thing. I mean, that's my point.
I likened it to a professional development allowance, if you will. So, you know, like Gene going to a treasurer's conference would be the same as furthering his knowledge and abilities and his scope of work. Whereas in the fire department, I think that being physically fit falls very specifically under professional development for a firefighter as opposed to the assessor. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying that's the other camp, I think, of looking at it, is that it's I think it is, and it can be narrowly tailored to a firefighter's professional development more specifically than every employee.
I would assume that you probably ask our gals here from Global Life that if they see people who work out on a regular basis, they probably have less injuries than those that don't. And whether it's in fire department or public works or parks or whatever it might be, I mean, it's all about bettering the employees of the township regardless of who and where they work for.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think if we're going to go down that path of every single employee gets a gym membership, then I sort of fall under what Amy said originally of, is it really, though, the taxpayers' dollars that should be keeping people healthy when that just should be, to me, a
Personal choice.
standard, it should just be a standard fact of life. I choose to pay for a gym membership. I bought a Peloton. It's quite expensive. I pay the monthly fee, and my alarm goes off at 5:15 every morning. Nobody pays me. I do it because it's good for me, and it's not my problem if nobody else feels that same way. If you want to not wake up and work out and you want to eat like junk, be my guest.
If I heard the beginning part of your statement, though, are you saying you would support it if it were narrowly tailored to the fire department?
I think if we're talking about spending township dollars on something that's a little bit arbitrary or sort of borderline in terms of if it's appropriate, I think it should be as narrowly tailored as possible.
This was a benefit that the fire department was already receiving. Do we take it away? They have to work out 6 times a month or they lose the benefit. And the major part of their job often is very physical. Do we take that away?
But yet we have only a third of the guys using it.
Yes.
And they should want to be fit.
But didn't the fire chief at the finance meeting, I don't know if he talked to Justin a little bit more about that, have an idea for next year on how this could get paid for? That would make it more onto the person than, do you have?
That's what I was kind of hoping Matt would refer to, is that you did have another suggestion that you said you'd possibly implement next
Did you
year.
guys talk about that, or
Would
did
put
that,
more of the
did
onus
that go
on
any
the...
further yet?
I guess remind me. Yeah, you can describe it.
So one of the other options was to have the employees pay the fee up front, and then we keep them accountable on the back end. At the end of the year, then they reimburse for every month that they completed 6 times. So it would be everything on them, their dime, their financing, their gym of pick, and then for every month that they complete it, we would audit in December and then reimburse that month. So if they were to step away on vacation and they missed 3 months, they're not going to get that.
That's a new
That was
HR
another
director.
option that we kind of briefly discussed.
Right, but, okay.
Right now, we're just trying to decide whether or not we're adding this in the employee handbook,
Right.
is that correct?
Correct. You're voting on the motion that got pushed from finance to this. It is the board can send it back to finance for review and clarification or any updates that Matt just described.
Yep.
I thought the concern was that it already started, and so that's what made it difficult, because that was an incentive, was to make the change right then.
Right.
But since they're under that policy right now, that they have gym membership, that
But
was the concern.
it's not added to our benefits manual. Any benefit I give, I have to give it to everyone, or it can be specified in our benefits manual for a certain department. Just like Kelly said earlier, it's a very slippery slope to arbitrarily give benefits to one group of people or one person. And that's what we have right now, and that's what we have to clean up.
Could we send it back and do the modification that was just mentioned by Matt?
It's up to the board.
I thought we couldn't, and that's why we didn't send it to us that way.
It can be tabled and the finance can reconvene on it.
I'd like to make a motion that we table it and send it back to finance.
Support.
Supported. Further discussion on the motion then to table? Does seem like it's a split board on this issue.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, hearing no further comment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, so 6-1, it's sent back to finance to look at it further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Second public comment period at this time. So if anyone wishes to step forward and address the board, you may do so at this time. You have 3 minutes. Identify your name and your address, and you may speak to any issue, whether it was on the agenda this evening or not.
Pete Plowman, Georgetown, 6877 Creek Ridge Court. On the gym memberships, I mean, as it relates to the fire department, we're already pulling $96,000 out of our rainy day fund to float the dollars for this year.
Yeah.
I mean, and now is the $12,000 or $28,000 for the gym membership also going to come out of the rainy day fund as well? Consider that. I think the better move, instead of using rainy day funds, should have been an amendment to the amendment where we allocate pickleball court money towards the fire department instead of using rainy day funds for that. That would have been a better management decision. The main point that I wanted to talk about is accountability. You did a bid last board meeting for Dean's Excavating. I didn't quite understand why we only had 1 bid. We have a policy to get 3 bids over $20K. We didn't do that. Gary told us why we didn't need 3 bids. Is that the way we do it every time? And it's not just a one-off, because we did a single vendor bid when we did the BPW office furniture with Interphase office systems for $125,000. Single vendor, didn't look at another one. Okay? I'm a little concerned that you're not following through on the policies that govern our government, the rules, the laws that we use to govern ourselves. You're not following them. I hope you would do that. Gene DeWitt was an employee of Georgetown. He ran for treasurer. He was supposed to take a leave of absence without pay. Did not take a leave of absence without pay. Nothing was done. Just looking the other way and not doing anything is constantly happening quite a bit. And that raises a lot of questions about integrity. So if you don't want people calling you out for integrity type issues, just like when Gene and Matt were on the fire department together, we have a nepotism rule. Nothing was done. Multiple letters, multiple comments, nothing was ever done. So I'm hoping that you will read the policy manual and follow it. Otherwise, people will be talking about your integrity and not following procedure. Jim, you're a lawyer. You understand how important it is to follow policy and procedure. You're an officer of the court. Why don't we follow those here?
All right, anyone else?
Michael Bosch, 3245 Golden Oak Court. I just wanted to say thank you. I got my credit, or I should say I got my money back that the township stole from me with a rate increase, which wasn't supposed to happen. And I appreciate finally getting that back. What's sad is only once you get caught do you do the right thing. That's frustrating. I want to know who knew and when did they know? Because this wasn't a surprise. I guarantee an employee had mentioned something to our manager that, hey, we're going to have an issue here. So who knew? And who was the one that made that call that that's okay, we're going to go ahead and overcharge people from before that rate increase went into effect? So it just gets me. Only when caught do you do the right thing. And then it reminded me, it was a couple of years ago where Jimmy used taxpayer money for a political hit piece against his opponent, me. Taxpayer money for a political hit job. Only when he was caught, when I saw the bill, hey, taxpayer money went for this? I'm going to pay for that myself. So only when caught do you do the right thing. And then it's got me thinking, I don't remember seeing any proof that you repaid the taxpayers for using their money illegally. So what I would ask is you provide a receipt, a copy of that check, or Justin to show me the account that you did reimburse for that once you were caught. Also, I don't know if you realize what you stepped into with Eastbrook. You set yourself up for a lawsuit. It's talking about opinion that you don't like something. I sure hope they don't go after you guys and cost taxpayers more money. And I like how you tried to backpedal. Wait, let me ask you, were you saying an opinion? No, it's too late. The toothpaste is out of the tube. I just hope it doesn't turn into a lawsuit. And then committee appointments, I would like to recommend that you take Schwalm off finance and put Kelly Kuiper on. She's good with numbers. Schwalm has proven over again, he's not good with numbers. Over $500 in campaign finance violation fees.
Please address the chair.
I am addressing the chair.
All right, then look at the chair.
Over $500 in fees? It just doesn't look good with money. Here's an opportunity as a board to say, you know what, maybe it's time for somebody new on finance. So, not looking good. But thank you.
All right, anyone else? Hearing none? Oh, I'm sorry, Joe, yeah. I thought you'd come for utilities or something, yeah. Yeah.
No, I came for, again, Joe Bush, Ottawa County Water Resources Commissioner. I'm making my rounds, so I thought I would stay here and kind of figure out what you guys got going in the township, so it's quite interesting.
Thank you.
I'm making my rounds to all 24 municipalities, And so our GIS has been updated again. We had new aerials. So I actually thought I'd bring a new map of all the drains that we have so far in the township. Once in a while, we find new ones from the late 1800s, early 1900s. We'll come across a drain once in a while in the files, in the jacket files. But anyway, I wanted to come and wish you guys a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for your partnership and all the things that we do, drain related. Justin and I talk quite often, so it's not like I'm a stranger and you don't know where I'm at or how to locate me, but you all know how to get a hold of me. You know, I serve your constituents just like you guys do. And also, hopefully everybody saw the newsletter that I put together. My team and I quite lengthy, a lot of information, but it's going to be coming out on a quarterly basis, so you can get updates on all the projects. There's a lot of them.
Good.
And I was quite surprised to see we're over budget on the CIP. Some of those did pop up that weren't going to be part of a drain project, but we had sinkholes and quite emergencies on some of those, so they just pop up. It's not like, you know, I could have planned those, but
Sure.
I couldn't. We were very aware of it even before Justin got here, that there was flooding and sinkholes in the subdivision. But again, I just want to say thanks for your partnership, and I hope everybody has a blessed and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. If I don't see you before then somewhere, I know Justin and I run Andy. So you guys know how to get a hold of me, and I'm always available. And thank you for letting me speak. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Good to see
Merry
you.
Christmas to you, too.
I'll stick around.
All right. Anyone else? All right, hearing none, we'll close the second public comment period. Item 24, discussion on general information among the board. Anything anyone wishes to raise?
Oh, I'd like to mention that in the tax bills, there was a flyer that was put together by Justin and Andy that I thought was exceptional, and it compared Georgetown to other municipalities in the area. It's the best I've ever seen. And I'd like to recommend that not just with the tax bill, but we take a look at that going out in the newsletter. I think extra copies should be made that when people come to visit us, they can take a look, because it's very unique what we have here in Georgetown Township. And I think it cuts through an awful lot of myths. So I hope you'll widely distribute that. And I'd like to see extra copies. And even as you walk in, where information is made available there, that might be something useful. So, incredibly good job. Best I've ever seen.
Was good. Anyone else?
My tax bill was not the best I've ever seen. Just to be clear.
Better than your summer one.
All
Yeah.
6 of them, 7 of them, 8 of them, whatever I got.
Yeah.
Like, thank Chelsea for stepping in for Amber. That's probably her first experience of a board meeting, and not sure she'll be
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Hopefully she will.
We hope to see you tomorrow.
Not
I
to-
don't
yeah,
think
go ahead.
anybody mentioned the
Yeah.
tree lighting yet.
Oh,
Like, the
yeah.
tree lighting was so great.
Yeah, yeah.
John did a great job with the speech, and the chorus they're just amazing. And I think they mentioned they have a concert coming up. It was really lovely. They kept it a little bit shorter this year, and it was cold, so it was nice, but it was a nice job done by all. And Rob Bristow does a great job with everything inside, and the trees look good, the Amy's tennis tree, and
Thank you. The white lights on the tree.
yeah, well, we're gonna talk about colored lights next year, Amy.
I would have came, but my favorite Hallmark movie was on that night. I stayed with my wife and watched that with her, so.
What happens, like with a minute left, they kiss and it's all good.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I was in
That's what
Florida.
it's all about.
The white lights on the palm trees.
A motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey?
Aye. Any opposed? There better not be. All right. Meeting, thanks.